I looked at the whole Ayawaso thing, and I was very interested and also quite concerned about our civil society. And when I say civil society here, I don't mean any particular group like Imani, all those who are civil society actors in Ghana, and watching this situation. And I heard our brother Franklin talk about the new current NDC, something like that. And the expectations of civil society was that we have some new kids on the block. And I had been watching that expression during the campaign because I have worked closely with politicians. I know them. And I believe that civil society actors also knows them. And the group of people who were running the campaign, as I said yesterday, were people who had been in government before. We know them. They are a known quantity. But somehow during the campaign we heard, oh, everything has changed. Oh, they have changed. Oh, John Mahama has changed. Oh, everything has changed. And you heard Franklin Kojo say, this current group. What is this current group? What is this current group? These are people we have been working with since 1998. This is it. There's nothing changing. So that's one aspect of it. So when we are going into a by-election, now I'm doing about 3 different strands. This is one. And still on this one, monetization is the second one now. What is monetization? Monetization is placing money on certain things, services, whatever. If you look at the trajectory of our politics from 1992, increasingly, almost everything is being monetized. Increasingly, almost everything. Parliamentary seats are monetized. Scholarship secretariats. When I was a child, people get scholarships and they are celebrated. They get scholarships and they didn't even know that they were being considered for scholarship. You are there and then you get a letter that, oh, they said you got a scholarship. You didn't know you were being considered. And then people celebrate, oh, you got a scholarship. Today, they say, come to scholarship secretariat, buy a scholarship. So everything is being monetized. Even some people complain that civil society work is being monetized by politicians who are paying civil society. So everything is being monetized. So why are we pretending about this monetization and its monetization? Those of us who are having the discussion, the jobs that we do, the things that we occupy, is it the same as it was 20 years ago? Are there more temptations of monetization? Has politics now monetized everything in that context? And then we leave all of that. We leave monetization of media, monetization of civil society, monetization of police promotions, monetization of military promotions.
Hospital attendance.
Monetization of hospital attendance. We leave all of this and come and complain about monetization of delegates. What hypocrisy is that?
Are you supporting then?
I'm not. I'm coming to it. Okay. I'm coming to it. So you sit in a society where everything is being monetized. We look at it. If it's our area, it's media, oh, don't talk about it. If it's civil society being monetized, oh, don't talk about it. Then we come and say politicians are doing monetization. Okay, leave that. In this country, among political conversations, we have what we call fear delegates. Fear delegates means that monetization actually does not work in the delegates context. That's what we all say. So why are we worried? We always say fear delegates. Oh, delegates, they'll take your money, they won't vote for you. We have always commended our delegates for voting the right way. In MPP, they say MPP delegates have never made a mistake. It's a saying in MPP. MPP delegates have never made a mistake. So let's not worry. They will never make a mistake. And delegates have been commended for taking somebody's money and teaching him a lesson. So if Baba Jamal is seen to be presenting 32-inch TV, in that context, did the fear delegates thing vanish? Okay, now the last round. The reason why those letters were going nowhere was that those letters were playing into the campaign propaganda that we are a new people. When in fact they are not. Nobody is. We all have to work out this. I'm not saying that, so leave it. I'm not saying leave it. I'm saying let us get to the root of the matter as a society. It's not just about politics. You are monitoring police promotion. People have to pay to move from corporal to sergeant. A policeman who is a corporal must go and pay money somewhere. Soldiers are paying. Scholarship is paying. Everybody is paying. So we are not concerned about that. We wait till one Saturday morning when Baba Jamal goes to share TV, then we all come. Politics is being monetized. Civil society is being monetized today. Politicians are paying civil society today.
In fact, the civil society man wants to talk. Frankly, what do you want to say? He said he wants to react to what you've said.
Yes, but you see, Paul,
yes,
I like your narrative, and I agree with you entirely. But you see, let me just say one thing. Not that I agree that you claim that civil society is wrong. Nobody gives me money. You give me money, I'll still deal with you anyway. By the way, look.
But you collect
money. I think hold on. I think what changed in this particular instance is that the letters that were issued, they were stripped. And we've never seen anything like that before. When have you seen the party come out to issue a statement saying that we are concerned about the nature of the elections? and that we are angry. And then the majority side also came saying they should have not done
So the optics of it. But he's saying that. So Paul is. But Paul is saying that it is nothing new. It's just the whole new NDC thing.
That this is the first time letters have come that way. But if you look at the videos, delegates in Nima came out to threaten Fifi Kwete. Not just threaten him, but they said that, but you, Fifi Kwete, you've paid us money before. They said John Mahama gave them 40 cedis.
Yes.
They said so, that John Mahama gave them 40
no, but John
cedis.
Mahama himself said that he gave 40 cedis.
Okay, so if John Mahama himself said he gave 40 cedis, the president, the overall, he gave 40 cedis. Yes, he was, but of course, he was in the same situation as the...
There's a difference.
What was the difference? For transportation. Let Paul land. Let Paul have 1 minute.
Who in the parliament has not remunerated delegate? I don't like using the word paying. Who in parliament has not remunerated delegate? So when they said that he who has sinned no more should cast the first stone, Fifi Kwete came with another press conference. Now he is unable to cast the first stone, and he's reminding Ofosu Kwakye that the statement that you wrote, you said Baba Jama was a government appointee. There are other people who were government appointees. This is the general secretary of the party responding on behalf of Baba Jama. This is the kind of system we are seeing now. Chaos. The government communication minister issues a statement.
There's a difference between the party and the government.
Fair enough, but the general secretary should not be contradicting the party. The general secretary should not be contradicting the government. Or that is okay.
No, it's reminding. It's reminding. They said they are reminding the president that the other people.
Fifi Kwete's statement he issued was in conformity with what Ofosu Kwakye issued, and was also in conformity with what the parliamentary majority issued. All statements seem to sing the same song, that something terrible had happened and we have to make a decision. It's just the majority group that went further and said that annul the election. They went further. But Fifi Kwete didn't go further. But he clearly identified the things that had happened. Ofosu Kwakye did the same. Then at the end of the committee's meeting, Fifi Kwete comes to tell us that, well, because we identified the thing, but there's no time. There's no time for us to correct.
And our constitution doesn't support it too. Okay.
And that our constitution disenables us.
Yes.
Our national constitution, which we created, which we can change. That constitution disenables us.
And also, finally, we have all done it before.
And we have all done it before, so it's okay. Let's leave it like that. By the way, fear delegates.
Yes.
So the delegates must have taken, and they probably didn't respond. Maybe. So, and this whole thing is also, there's a Musa Dankwa part of it, which is saying that Musa Dankwa's predictions, they don't happen because people paid. Why? Musa Dankwa is experienced enough to know that every election there will be that factor. He's very, very experienced.
Maybe it excess.
No, but which election in Ghana has not had experience of people
for the whole country? How many delegates were they?
No, but this one, the TV, but it was not the TV under their armpit.
No, they
can't compare that.
Before the TV, they are taking microwave according to them from the lady.
And
they said they are taking microwave. Yes.
But do you know 3,000 is actually
and there were
more than
motorbikes and pieces of cloth. Let me hear from Nibakbo.
3,000 is actually more than the cost of
Are you a headmaster, headmistress, parent, teacher, or an educator looking for high-quality textbooks for preschool, primary, and junior high school students? Look no further than Advocates Publishing Company. Advocates Publishing Company is a leading publisher of educational materials in Ghana that publishes very engaging, interactive, and comprehensive textbooks that meet the needs of students, teachers, and parents. Our textbooks are thoroughly published to make learning fun and easy. They are also designed to stimulate critical thinking, problem solving, and creativity in students. Make Advocate Publishing your preferred choice for all your educational needs. Explore our range of textbooks and educational resources. Visit us at the old GNTC yard near Kingsway, Accra. You can contact us on 0503 786 776 or 02408 06354, also 0531 600 360, and connect with us on Instagram, X, and Facebook at Advo Publishing. Don't settle for less. Choose the best. Advocate Publishing Company, empowering young minds one textbook at a time. Think in publishing, think Advocate Publishing.
It's time to believe in you. are changing, so should you. If you're dreaming, don't be afraid. And in the valleys, keep your head up high. Got to dream with Puma drinks. Yeah, believe it, you can achieve. Oh yeah, clap your hands for the whole new vibe. Make we start the vibe. Oh yeah, come alive. Let me hear you. Puma drinks, a whole new vibe. Another quality product from Casa Precon.
This advert is FDA approved.
Brush, 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 brush your teeth. Brush, 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 2 times a day. Brush with Kel-Kit.
Hello, my friends. My name is Kel-Kit toothpaste.
Wow.
I was made to be gentle on your gum, but protected. I will protect your teeth from cavity, make your teeth whiter, stronger, keep your mouth fresh all day. And best of all, I'm strawberry flavored. So put on a smile and try me.
That's amazing.
Just try me. That's my job.
If you say so, jump on my brush. Makes your teeth stronger, chicky chicky whiter, chicky chicky stronger. Yay! You did it!
I'm glad you like your new toothpaste. Don't forget to brush both day and night.
Kel-Kit. Happy smile.
Zoomlion Private Services Limited, your waste management expert. One of the most innovative aspects of our business is our commitment to adopting cutting-edge technologies and sustainable practices in the waste management industry. We have invested in modern waste collection trucks, digital payment systems. We have also implemented efficient waste segregation systems and also developed strategic partnerships with our various stakeholders in the waste management value chain. I can talk about our innovative approach that enables us to reduce waste disposal costs, also minimize our environmental impact, and provide our clients with seamless customer service experience. We are the waste management experts.
Can he tee up someone in red? In it goes to one!
Do not say!
That's who goes for.
I got 5 champions league. You want to know?
I be the real goat. Chairman.
I'm the real goat.
The left magician. The left magician.
Who is the goat? Ghana Jollof or Nigerian Jollof?
Ghana Jollof has no co-equal. The smell alone. Oh my God.
On that shift. You two they lie. Now the same stew when they use cook the rice and then they go put them for top.
Hey! You are lying. Ghana Jollof.
I knew this year. Forget everybody. Yeah.
My guy. Put some respect on the goat.
On the goat. The only goat I know lives in Tama. Every year we they give to you back to back. We are talking about BET. I want some Yaji face. Except be the goat, huh? My guy, he be the goat.
Though our choice of goats may differ in football, music, and jollof, Alomo Bitters always brings us together. Alomo, experience greatness in every moment.
Drink responsibly. Not for sale to persons under 18, nor recommended to pregnant women. This advert is FDA approved.
Yes, next. Hey, Nadia Benson, Asamo.
Me didn't tum. Mr. Friend, Calico, just call me cockroach. Now, Mr. Friend, me once now.
Hey, is that you?
Improve car.
Yeah.
Captain Mosquito, double the action. Me did it, Sasso spray. Mr. Friend, Sasso quell. Yeah, go to my Sasso. Tonton Preko.
Up Santa Claus and stand up to your honor. Those who have gilded the school with their fame. Our alma mater, a blessing upon her. They that remember the strength of their name. Others have labored and we share their glory. As to do exploit and add to their gain. Those who come after will take up a story. May be worthy of singing again. Play up, more join me. Play up Santa Claus. So we go play up and play the game. Give nothing but your best and never think of rest. Play up for the school's great name. Play up Santa Claus. So we go play up and play the game. Give nothing but your best and never think of rest. Play up for the school's great name. Thank you. Provide 540 cubic meters of water to over 5,000 students and non-teaching staff on campus. Because you know Cape Coast, back then, water has been a challenge in Cape Coast. So based on the advice from the Global Executive Council of Other Boys, they decided that no, this is the project we want your year group to do. And we wanted a cheaper one, but they told us no, this is the necessity the school really has to take up. So that's the project we are doing. And so we are expected to execute it and hand it over to the school next year, March. And because 25 years after you are out of school, then you are customarily mandated to undertake a legacy.
Because oftentimes these legacy projects are
for building society. Science is very, very important for livelihood. We live on science. Whatever we've done this morning, whether you use a cream. I looked at the whole Ayawaso thing, and I was very interested and also quite concerned.
who claim they don't understand 24-hour economy. Tell them we, the youth, they called lazy. We have a formula for them to understand. It's very simple. Formula 1-3-3. Same job, 3 people, 3 shifts. When you go to your local factory in your various districts and communities, you get there, we have Akosia, Fozia, we have Esenam living in the same house. But that local factory works from 8 to 5 each day. And it's only Akosia that works in that factory because there's no space. So what President Mahama is promising us is that he's going to provide incentives for these factories. Tax incentives, security, name them all, appropriate incentives to ensure that space is created in these factories for Esenam and Fozia to join Akosia to work in these factories.
Constitution 1960. After 11 years, they are sure Kwame Nkrumah shall be the president of Ghana. Now, Constitution is truly.
I looked at the whole Ayawaso thing, and I was very interested and also quite concerned about our civil society. And when I say civil society here, I don't mean any particular group like Imani, all those who are civil society actors in Ghana, and watching this situation. And I heard our brother Franklin talk about the new current NDC, something like that. And the expectations of civil society was that we have some new kids on the block. And I had been watching that expression during the campaign because I have worked closely with politicians. I know them. And I believe that civil society actors also knows them. And the group of people who were running the campaign, as I said yesterday, were people who had been in government before. We know them. They are a known quantity. But somehow during the campaign we heard, oh, everything has changed. Oh, they have changed. Oh, John Mahama has changed. Oh, everything has changed. And you heard Franklin Kojo say, this current group. What is this current group? What is this current group? These are people we have been working with since 1998. This is it. There's nothing changing. So that's one aspect of it. So when we are going into a by-election, now I'm doing about 3 different strands. This is one. And still on this one, monetization is the second one now. What is monetization? Monetization is placing money on certain things, services, whatever. If you look at the trajectory of our politics from 1992, increasingly, almost everything is being monetized. Increasingly, almost everything. Parliamentary seats are monetized. Scholarship secretariats. When I was a child, people get scholarships and they are celebrated. They get scholarships and they didn't even know that they were being considered for scholarship. You are there and then you get a letter that, oh, they said you got a scholarship. You didn't know you were being considered. And then people celebrate, oh, you got a scholarship. Today, they say, come to scholarship secretariat, buy a scholarship. So everything is being monetized. Even some people complain that civil society work is being monetized by politicians who are paying civil society. So everything is being monetized. So why are we pretending about this?
Hello, good evening, and welcome to another edition of the program. It's 28 minutes to the top of the hour at 10 o'clock. Tonight, we have so much on. We have also a cocoa conversation with you tonight about Cocoa Board, because there's been a new release, something that looks like should be satisfying to many of the critics of the recent Cocoa Board situation. But Fifi Boafo tells us that it's not satisfying at all, and he'll be in the studio to tell us what has happened at Cocoa Board. Right now, the Cocoa Board management has announced that in view of the difficulties of the company, the management is announcing a 20% reduction in the compensation, that means salaries, for the senior staff and also the top management. 20% reduction for senior staff and top management. And some people think it's a step in the right direction, at least to ameliorate the social pressure and the psychological disheartening situation for the farmers. Fifi Boafo, who used to be at Cocoa Board, will be in the studio tonight to tell us about it. And also, we have our big conversation on vote buying. Tonight we have a conversation on vote buying, and it's become important because you know that today, both the National Executive of the New Patriotic Party and the National Executive of the National Democratic Congress had meetings. And in the National Executive of the National Democratic Congress meeting, trying to stop vote buying based on what's happening in Ayawaso East was the big story. We'll tell you how the meeting ended, and we'll tell you about our story on vote buying. As far as the MPP National Executive meeting was concerned, the General Secretary, Mr. Justin Kodua, will be addressing a press conference tomorrow at 1 o'clock to tell the general public what happened at the National Executive meeting. But one thing that was expected to be discussed as the MPP National Executive meeting was not discussed at all. It is about the future of the leadership of the party in Parliament. The party led by Alexander Fenyo-Makin, the indefatigable minority leader, and Mrs. Patricia Appiaje, and I believe Arnaud Dompré is there as Chief Whip, yes. Yes, so that didn't happen. We're going to explain to you in an editorial where the situation is right now with Alex Markin, the leader of the MPP group. Naturally, there are some people who want him to be changed based on what happened on 31st January. I will be explaining to you what we think of that one. And then we go to Cocoa Matters. So welcome aboard as usual. I was going to use the word controversial, and it is important that I share this story with you viewers. Somebody saw me in traffic and asked me that, why are you always saying controversial things? And I just had to apologize. I just told him, I'm sorry, I won't say controversial things anymore. But then that set me thinking, pondering about what is controversial. And I just started looking at it. I knew what he was talking about. Obviously, he's referring to the editorials that we have been churning out on the history of Ghana and the Convention People's Party and CPP and Kwame Nkrumah and all of that. That's obviously what he's referring to, controversial. You see, it sometimes is worrying and it's concerning when you see that there's a conversation going on and people that are part of civil society who you expect to examine the conversation and make a position, take a position on it, they don't. So there are some people who say that, oh, as for me, the Nkrumah and Dankwa thing, I'm in the middle. I don't know. I'm not on any side. You can't say you're not on any side because those advocating for A are saying something and those advocating for B are saying something. You can examine what they are saying and decide that what B is saying is 70% truth, but it's 30% untrue. Or what A is saying is 70% truth, but there are a lot of people who decide that they do that. Now, that happens when propaganda has gone ahead. You see, the socialists and the communists, they are very, very powerful when it comes to propaganda. Until the Berlin Wall collapsed in 1991, we didn't know that the life in Czechoslovakia and in Poland and in all the Eastern European countries was a sham. Nobody was living any good life over there. But the communist and socialist propaganda is always very, very strong. They propaganded from the 1970s to the 1980s, telling us that life was very good in communist Poland. They told us life was very good in Bosnia-Herzegovina. They told us all of that. When the Berlin Wall collapsed and we went inside and we saw that these people were living in squalor. But the propaganda of the communists can be very powerful. It was only Boris Yeltsin who allowed us to know that perestroika and glasnost and all of those things did not work under Perez de Cuellar. Perez de Cuellar was did I say Perez de Cuellar? The Russian leader before Boris Yeltsin was named. Perez de Cuellar was the UN Secretary General who was mediating all of these things. There was a Russian leader at the time. All of these people, they were telling us things. Mikhail Gorbachev, thank you very much. You know my young people, they are supplying the name. Mikhail Gorbachev was a Russian leader. Perez de Cuellar was the UN Secretary General who was negotiating all of these Russian things. When Mikhail Gorbachev was defeated after the Berlin Wall collapsed and Boris Yeltsin came in and he allowed the world into Russia, we saw that Russia was actually a very poor country. But it is the power of propaganda. You know, these propagandists, they are very, very serious at it. So when you have lived your life in Ghana and the propaganda has been that Kwame Nkrumah has done XXX, and you hear 70 years later that perhaps it wasn't true, sometimes, because of the power of the propaganda, as human beings, we really don't want to confront it. So, for instance, somebody comes to tell me that you are 32 years old, and somebody tells you that your father that you have known as your father is not your father. I have the story. Sometimes our human instinct is that I don't even want to know. Because for 32 years, I know him as my father. I don't want to know about your story. I'm not interested. That's sometimes how it happens when propaganda has gone ahead and it has propagated untruths, and now the truth is coming. It becomes a big problem. That's the situation. So people think that, why are you talking about Kwame Nkrumah? And that's because very powerful communist, socialist-led propaganda had gone on in terms of who Nkrumah is, what his image is, what his image has been, and that propaganda has been living. And it has been fueled by powerful media, BBC, Survey, and all of these things have come together to form a propaganda. But let us now cut the chase and see whether there's something in. And many people, and I can understand them, is human, say, I don't even want to know, I'm not interested, because that's how propaganda works. Look at this country, look at 2025 Ghana. We were told that Tema Oil Refinery was going to start refining oil. In fact, decorations of pickups were done. That's in vehicle pickups to adorn the occasion. We were told that Tema Oil Refinery has done the first oil refinery. Today, go and check. We are now being told that, oh, some money that was expected to come from the Minister of Finance did not come, so the thing didn't happen. This is how propaganda can be very powerful. Propaganda, it can be very, very powerful. We were told in this country during campaign that Ghana was going to be set up in a 24-hour economy. Initially, the 24-hour economy could not be explained. The explanation was bogus, as I can say. Many wish we can show you some of those videos. We still have them. The explanation was completely bogus. And then when the propagandists found out that the explanation was bogus, they found an explanation that sounds like it is true. That's where propaganda comes. Very clever propaganda. Very, very clever propaganda. That's where it comes. And then so they said something about what the 24-hour economy means. They knew that it's not true. They knew that it's not even possible to reduce electricity for people who are working in the night, because night is peak time. Since NDC came to power, ECG, without the 24-hour economy, have increased electricity. But it's the same ECG that we were told that when 24-hour economy comes from January 2029, if President Mahama wins, ECG will be reducing electricity for people who are working in the night. Now, people who are working in the morning, they have had to pay 4 times what they were paying in 2024. But that is how propaganda works. Watch this advert of 24-hour economy, and you will understand what I mean by the power of propaganda, which can actually portray untruths onto unsuspecting people, and we all believe it. Have a look at this advert.
How can we solve the unemployment crisis in Ghana? Yes, Massa.
By using formula 133.
Can you expatiate?
Say, this simply means 1 job, 3 shifts, 3 people. That is the Mahama 24-hour economy policy. Under this policy, businesses will be given tax incentives, cheaper electricity, financial support, and security support services to encourage them to work 24/7 by adopting 3 work shifts of 8 hours each. This will triple job opportunities in the country. This policy will boost production, increase productivity, and generate well-paying jobs in all participating businesses and public organizations.
Excellent. The 24-hour policy will be a game changer.
Vote for change. Vote for John Mahama and the NDC.
How can you have a Ghanaian job in this Ghanaian economy, a job given by government, even the people in the job? Every ministry comes and they are trying to download the people in the civil service. We say that our biggest problem is the payroll at the civil service. And then the political campaign says that the civil service as it is, I'm going to triple it. And we believe it. We believe it. Because it sounds, you see, the reason why we believe it is the power behind the propaganda. The power behind the propaganda can be very solid. You know that many years ago when Jesus Christ resurrected and the people were told, the bosses in Jerusalem were told that Jesus Christ had resurrected, their first option was, listen, call the guards who were there. Let us pay them money and let them change the story. Pay them money. That's always the fuel. That's always the impetus. Pay money. Propaganda is pushed by money. A lot of money paid to people, whether journalists, civil society, everybody. So the Herod and his people in Jerusalem 2,000 years ago, they paid money for the propaganda to be that. And you see, propaganda is always has a likelihood of truth. You always have to tell it. You have to be clever enough. That's why those of us who are not very clever, we can't do propaganda well. Those who are very clever, they are very good at it. When you examine the propaganda, you can see the level of intelligence that has been applied. If you don't have that IQ, you probably will not be able to do it. They always put up a story that sounds like it's plausible. The plausibility of the propaganda is what always works. So they said, tell them that his disciples came to steal his body away. That makes a lot of sense, because his disciples will be embarrassed that he had died. And because they said that he's some Alpha and Omega person and he won't die. And the disciples will be embarrassed that he had died. So say that the disciples had come to pick up the body. That's powerful propaganda that was paid for by Herod. Still lives today, 2,000 years after. So if Herod's propaganda can live for 2,000 years, then the propaganda of the 1950s, 57s, 60s, it can live for a long time. Our responsibility is to share the truth. And everything we say is completely true. It cannot be untrue because it's from the books. It's clearly from the books. This is the arrangement that the books prescribed These are the laws that were prescribed, etc., etc. So really, that's the power of propaganda. You saw the advert. So let's keep propaganda in mind. And if you are young and you don't want to be a victim of propaganda, just have a penchant for research and check certain things. One job, 3 people in Ghana will do it. The president's job, 3 people will do it. The minister's job, 3 people will do it. After 1 year, which jobs have 3 people been employed into? And can you even do that? Can you employ somebody and give him an appointment letter for a role that is already existing in the company, that he will come and do 3 jobs? Can you even do that under civil service regulation? But we were told that and we all believed it. That's the story about propaganda. Let's get ready and start the program now. It's take 15 minutes to the top of the hour. Let me get onto the touch screen and let's begin with our conversation today. I'd like to start with a glorious 70th birthday wish for... I was going to say one of the important founders of the National Democratic Congress, used to be Minister for Information and also Minister for National Security. Later on, he was the chairman of the board of the National Communication Authority. And in this NDC, present NDC administration, Kofi Totobi Kwache is the president's representative on the Judicial Council. Is the president's representative or one of the president's representative on the Judicial Council. So he was very much in the loop in the processes that removed Justice Gertrude Araba Tokono. Totobi Kwache must have been very much involved in it. Uncle Totobi Kwache is 70 years old, and we say God richly bless him on this occasion, and God grant him all his heart desires, including his political heart desires. But we were excited because Totobi Kwache put up a fantabulous dance during his 70th birthday celebration. I'd like you to see it. All right, happy birthday, Kofi Totobi Kwache. One of the, and he told me this himself, one of the greatest honors of his life that he completely cherishes, Totobi Kwache. He told me himself that one of the greatest honors that has been done him, that he completely cherishes, is an honor given to him by the North Korean leader. And he was made an honorary statesman of North Korea, communist North Korea, many years ago, recognized Kofi Totobi Kwache as an important person. So he said to me that that was a big honor for North Korea to recognize. So he was in North Korea, and the great leader recognized him and recognized his skill and recognized his support of the revolution of North Korea. Okay, let's start with vote buying. But before then, let's get onto the text messages and see. Yes, there's this one quickly. Let me deal with this one. Honorable Michael Ochribefi. Oh, he's done a fantastic job. Do you know Honorable Michael Ochribefi? He's the MPP Member of Parliament for Koforidua. And he was Deputy Minister at Trade. And he was also at Free Zones Board. So he put on his Facebook page just now that this evening, I visited our sister from Koforidua, one of the 2 Ghanaian survivors of the recent attack in Burkina Faso, after she was successfully airlifted by government to the 37 military hospital. I thank God for her life and for his divine protection in the midst of such tragic incidents. Our hearts remain heavy for the lives lost, and we continue to pray for the families affected. Honorable Ochribefi says, I commend government and the security agencies for the swift response and medical evacuation, and I wish her strength, healing, and a full recovery in the days ahead. Koforidua stands with you. Ghana stands with you. May God grant comfort, healing, and peace to all. Honorable Michael Ochribefi, Member of Parliament, New Jabin. So yes, it's good that the President had recognized the matter and has spoken about it earlier today. And here is an MP who is performing his work as a Member of Parliament, traces his people, his constituents, all the way to 37 Military Hospital, and goes there to visit with the lady who has been in trouble. Earlier today, Dr. Kwesi was blasting the foreign minister, Honorable Okujeto Ablakwa, and Kwesi could not understand why you had the Ghana government did not issue a warning or did not issue a pathway when we know that our traders are going to Burkina Faso. But that's what happened. The foreign minister, he's not interested. He's doing propaganda. Every day he's doing propaganda. He thinks that he's still campaigning. Every day foreign minister is doing propaganda. When he has to protect Ghanaian lives, he's not interested. Dr. Kwesi, why are you upset? You don't have to be upset. What are you expecting? The foreign minister is doing politics. He's doing propaganda of government. He's propaganda doing things. He's not thinking about the Ghanaian people. Kwesi was surprised that, I heard him on Joy, and he's been, I think, on City as well. He was flabbergasted. He said, but didn't Ghana government say something about the border at Burkina Faso? We know that there's trouble in Burkina Faso. In fact, Kwesi said that Burkina Faso, there's rebels control some parts of the country. So by now, Ghana government should have issued an alert. The foreign affairs minister will not do that. He's doing propaganda and all over the place. So Kwesi, don't worry. But Ochebefi was there to commiserate. No, commiserate is a strong word. She didn't die. He was there to sort of support the lady who was involved and was injured. Thankfully, the Ghana Armed Forces did an excellent job. As for the Ghana Armed Forces, superb. 5,000%. The Ghana Armed Forces did an excellent job. The Ghana Army, they quickly went in, brought them to 37. There's nothing that the Ghana Army cannot do if we allow them. If we allow them, if we don't politicize the army and we don't sack generals and sack 36 generals and we allow the Ghana Armed Forces, they are a beautiful group of people. It will work. Soldier, are you there? I salute. So this is Ochebefi. He's going to see the constituents. As for the foreign minister, if you are waiting for him to save Ghanaians who are traveling, please, you have to wait for a long time to come. Unless maybe one of these days he changes. Okay. All right. It's votes buying, but let me get to text messages and see what people are saying about what we've said so far, and then we'll tell you our conversation about vote buying. Don't go anywhere, because I might be giving you some personal experiences. Maybe I have received votes before. Maybe I have bought votes before. I'll tell you everything after the text messages at 8 minutes to the top of the hour, 10 o'clock. Should I start with Anziba? Okay, Anziba.
Very much, Paul. Coming from Papa K. Ababio, he says, Paul is on fire tonight. Greetings from Massachusetts. Keep up the detailed touchscreen analysis of our beloved country, Ghana, where history is being told without fear or favor. Thank you, Paul. Alhaji Yusuf says, Paul, good evening. My simple question is, what will it take the president and his NDC party to build cocoa processing factories in major cocoa producing areas or regions, so that we can stop exporting cocoa beans? Samuel Fosuba says, Paul, when are you launching the second edition of your maiden book? Some of us are eagerly looking forward to it. Osbert says, I love your green suit, Paul. Prince Pal says, the truth will always stand. And lastly, coming from Felix Barbin, he says, NDC always relies on the gullibility of the populace to spew lies and propaganda. Over to you, Fatih.
Right. Thank you, Anziba. This is from Bernard Danso, and she says, I've always said that it was only a matter of time for the lies and propaganda of the John Mahama NDC to be brutally exposed. They promised cocoa farmers unrealistic pay and have ended up failing miserably to honor the promise, and rather giving poor cocoa farmers a measurable haircut. They promised 24-hour jobs that will employ people to work in shifts, but their majority leader has stated clearly that the promise isn't going to work. Now, to divert attention on the cocoa farmers' haircut and tensions arising, they quickly put in a so-called investigation into the dealings of the cocoa board in the last 8 years. Junior Agba from Tamale says, whatever they were saying with regards to the 24-hour economy, some of us knew very well that it was nothing but a propaganda. Mohammed Yusufa says, most Ghanaians are so gullible, some even refuse to use their brains. That's why you see the majority of us clapping for this kind of cheap politics. Imagine GM having the nerves to tell cocoa farmers that he's going to drill boreholes in all cocoa farmers and their farms actually believed him. Junior Akbar from Tamale says, NDC always maintain every public sector workers. NDC always maintain every public sector workers. Will it be working by 3 shifts in a day? And the good people of Ghana bought into that propaganda. But for now, everybody can admit that it was indeed a big propaganda. Seth also says the sound of victory is clear. We have to stay united and work hard. Articulate Alfred said the NDC is a scam government. And lastly, coming from Gina Akbar, he says, especially Ghana here, we take propaganda as a course to learn. NDC for you. Country broke or country no group, we all day inside. We always believe that propaganda cannot move this country forward. You can use propaganda to take over this country, and you can still want to use propaganda to govern us, but it can never happen if not NDC. Back to you, Paul.
Okay, I have another message from the Reverend Intim Fojo, who is a member of Parliament for Ascent South, and he says, sincere condolences to the bereaved families affected by the horrific terrorist killings of Ghanaian traders in Burkina Faso. Our prayers are with the injured. Ghanaians deserve a coordinated government response which must include pragmatic consular engagement, survivor support, dignified identification and repatriation of remains. Beyond the travel advisory belated issues, further measures that are imperative for immediate activation include joint intelligence sharing, corridor threat mapping, safe passage arrangements, and effective consular security liaison structures. We demand answers, we demand action, and we insist that Ghana protects its citizens, whether home or beyond our borders. May the souls of the departed compatriots rest in perfect peace. That's from Reverend Intim Fojo, Member of Parliament for Ascent South. So you see that now he's also the ranking member on defense, and he's very interested in what is happening in the defense sector. Reverend Intim Fojo's photograph is here, sitting in Parliament. One of the very hard-working people in Parliament, and one of the very, very bright shining spots of the new patriotic party. Reverend Intim Fojo, very young man, very bold, and very, very consistent. And we hope that he will be in Parliament for a long time to come. And hopefully one day, when the MPP has won elections, we'll see him in an executive position. Okay, the microwaves are here. Let's start with Baba Jamal. And viewers, this is a very frank and honest conversation that I want to have. It's a no-holds-barred conversation. It's a conversation that is just going to tell you the truth about all of these things. And that's why I have Baba Jamal's picture here, because he's the center of the conversation about the so-called vote buying. Now, the story is that there was an election in Nima, and some people believe that gifts and items were given to delegates to influence them. We usually call that culture vote buying, that you are giving the delegates something so that they will elect you as a leader of either constituency, either the region, the national chairman of the party, or a presidential, parliamentary candidate, or even a presidential candidate. Now, the strange matter, that what really triggered this conversation is not that we haven't seen vote buying before, because I can show you a video today where the Greater Accra Regional Minister says that in every election, this is her words, in every election, there is a vote buying, unquote. So if the MPP wants, they should also go and buy the vote, unquote. That's her words. She says in every election, there's a vote buying. So vote buying is not new. Why this was phenomenal? It's not even about the size of the compensation that Baba Jamal was given, which is the television, the motorbikes, the rice, the microwaves, and the excessive cash, 9,000 cedis, we are being told. It is about the fact that this particular event had happened after voting had started. Usually, the compensation and the influence is completed before voting starts. Voting started at 7 a.m. At 10 a.m., people were being given television sets. So this is why it became, what Baba Jamal had done is to has scratched the wrong part of the society. Because what everyone was doing in the dark, Baba Jamal brought it out into the open and was doing it in the open for everybody to see. But this is what we all do in the dark. Why is Baba Jamal alone bringing it out? So we have to sanction Baba Jamal because he is spoiling our image. He is bringing out our dirty linen. He's washing our dirty linen in public. After voting had started, Baba Jamal was distributing. Give me the TV distribution one. I need that now. After voting had started, Baba Jamal was distributing television sets. After voting had started. Because by the time voting comes, we have all in the night, we've gone to the delegates, we've given them their money, we've sent their money to them on mobile phone, nobody has seen it. We have promised them what we promised them, those that we are giving cars to, everything has been done. And then voting comes, we do sign of the cross, we go and vote early in the morning and wait for the results. So people don't read, they just hear rumors about it, they just hear. They don't really see the thing. But what Baba Jamal did was that he brought it out into the open. 10 o'clock in the morning. Voting has already started. I don't know whether they took the TV. Oh, they can't find the TV video. Okay. I don't know whether they took the TV before they went to vote or they went to vote before they took the TV. I don't understand which is which. Oh, the TV video is the most important video. That's the most important. Anyway. All right. So apparently they don't have that. So Baba Jamal was sharing the TVs. So as I said, he brought out the, oh my goodness, sorry. Let me take a short break. I'll come back and start the story again. I have to take a break.
In my line of work, a confident smile is everything. Kale Charcoal Toothpaste keeps me on top of my game and ensures my smile is always radiant and bright.
With the tiring nature of my job, we spend several hours under the scorching sun. To keep our teeth white and our breath fresh all the time, we use none other than Kale Charcoal Toothpaste. Kale Charcoal Toothpaste. You're on a Kessie and in a kit one.
Samayo kendini ehu behia se metwa sapapadia to ama me manfo Kale Charcoal's natural ingredients eno ene bom se ho ban e ma ne sren ne sanso mama hotoso e wo bedwam.
Kale Charcoal Toothpaste.
Choose Kale Charcoal Toothpaste for anti-cavity, whiter teeth and fresher breath all day. Available in 80 gram and 150 gram. Grab yours today.
Kale, happy smile. This advert is FDA approved.
Can he tee up someone in red? In it goes to one!
Too much, sir!
That's who goal is for.
I got 5 Champions League. You
want to know? I be the real goat, chairman. I be the real goat. The left magician, the left magician.
Who is the goat? Ghana Jollof or Nigerian Jollof?
Ghana Jollof has no co-equal. The smell alone. Oh my God.
No, that shit. You two they lie, eh? Now the same stew when they use cook the rice and then they go put them for top.
Hey, you are lying. Ghana Jollof.
Are you idiot? Forget everybody. Yeah.
My guy.
Put your papa in the jar. Put some respect on the goat.
On the goat. The only goat I know lives in Tama.
Every year we dey give to you back to back. We are talking about BET. I want some Yadiaji face. Except be the goat, huh?
My guy, he be the goat.
Though our choice of goats may differ in football, music, and jollof, Alomobitus always brings us together. Alomo, experience greatness in every moment.
Drink responsibly. Not for sale to persons under 18, nor recommended to pregnant women. This advert is FDA approved.
Dignitati homino, dignitati homino, true dignity of men in all the world. Dignitati homino, dignitati homino, true dignity of men in all the world. To next year will be 70 years, and there will be a lot of activities this year to pre-mark. Yes, pre-mark. They're 70 yes, but St. Peter's, the focus is infrastructure. So more dormitories, more classrooms, and
you have to work hard.
Yes. And recently, the Minister of Education. Oh, St. Peter's, are hard work to take it. You know, recently the Minister of Education commended St. Peter's for
being one of the few schools to go on a single track, because we are building more infrastructure. So now single track, no more. So on this note, I have to mention some people, key people who are doing their best so that we get more infrastructure. First, I must commend the current headmaster, Reverend Father Bulu. Then our global president, His Lordship Appeals Court Judge David Adade-Boafo. He's the global president now. And our board chairman, Nana Wadie, and also one very sharp old boy, Emmanuel Siedu, CEO of Virtual Security Africa. All these guys are behind us so that... Yes, please. Yes, so that he's my classmate. Okay. So that we get more infrastructure, more dormitories. There are a lot of things we are doing, like we are going to get the students pure water factory, because they consume a lot of pure water, and a lot of things that we are doing, the school food, the dining hall, but the focus is more infrastructure, so that next year, 70th anniversary, we will unveil a lot of infrastructure. And the 70th anniversary to, God willing, the governor of Bank of Ghana, who's an old boy, who also spearhead all the activities. Dr. Johnson. Yes, Siama. We have a lot of old boys who are on the sidelines here, from academia to the media, musicians, Kwabna, all those. We also mention.
Press. Yeah, those are important, and I think in
Sorry, viewers, I had to quickly get the video so that the case will be made, and we apologize for the short break. I hope you enjoyed the break. But we are back now. So what's the story we are talking about? We're talking about vote buying from a very controversial perspective, but everything we're going to say is true, and it might bring up some things that people might not be happy with. But we have to say it anyway, it's true. This is our perspective on vote buying, and that's why we have Baba Jamal here. The story is that Alhaji Baba Jamal, who was, until recently, Ghana's High Commissioner in Abuja, decided to contest for the NDC's primaries in Ayawaso West Wuogon. Those of you who know Accra well, it's the area of Nima. Ayawaso East, sorry, Ayawaso East. Ayawaso West Wuogon is Legon. Ayawaso East is Legon. It's Nima. Nima is the predominant area. Baba Jamal is a son of Nima, and so he was very confident. Having been an MP before, earlier in Akwetia, it's important to add that information. Baba Jamal is not a novice. He's been an MP before. I believe he's been a deputy minister or something like that also before. But he's been an MP before from Akwetia, certainly. But now he was appointed as High Commissioner, and he comes in as he wants to be the Member of Parliament, because unfortunately the Member of Parliament passed. NDC Member of Parliament for Nima passed. And so under the law, there has to be a by-election. And Baba Jamal is interested in that. So the NDC is organizing primaries to determine who represents them. And as the phenomenon has already become common in our parliament, the widow was interested and was supported by many, as is being rumored, including supported by President John Dramani Mahama and officials of Jubilee House. That's the rumor. And Baba Jamal also came in being heavily supported by the party chairman. In fact, it's rumored that it was a party chairman who actually told Baba Jamal that you should come and consider doing this. And so he came in. Now, the vote buying thing has been going on in Ghana for a while. Rumors of vote buying has been going on. And we have also seen a video where the current Greater Accra Regional Minister is saying that in her words, in every election, there's a vote buying. So the MPP should also go and buy a vote. If they want to win, they should buy a vote, because in every election, there's a vote buying. So if they want to win, they should also go and buy the votes. She said that before. Nobody called her to ask her any question. And I'm also, in addressing this matter, bringing out the hypocrisy that we sometimes churn out that comes to bite all of us. The hypocrisy that we sometimes churn out. The regional minister said that everybody laughed at it. It was a video that was creating laughs. And we all laughed at it. Nobody called her into question. Nobody said anything. That's part of the problems that we have in this society. We laugh about things that perhaps we should be taking more serious and dealing with it. We laugh about things that then fester and become a canker. And by the time it becomes a canker, then we are all concerned about it. But we have forgotten that when it began to fester, we all laughed at it. So here's Baba Jamal. Now, the reason why the Baba Jamal incident has robbed off society in a terrible way, especially the upper class, the political class, the civil society, and the media. The reason why the Baba Jamal thing has rocked all of us so bad is that, and it is important, it is this. What we have all been doing during primaries, everything that we do in secret, Baba Jamal brought it to the open. Because when there is this influencing delegates, it always closes before voting starts. So by the time the cameras come in when the voting starts, that's when all the cameras come in. The attention on the election is when the voting starts, the campaign and when the voting starts. So for a small election like that, all the attention is on Nima on Saturday morning, voting has started. But so because of that, all of us, politicians, journalists, civil society, those of us who want to influence anybody, we complete the influencing hours before voting starts. So when voting starts and the cameras arrive, you don't see any MP there giving money to anybody or giving anybody envelope. You just hear from the delegates, oh, we all got 500, oh, we all got 200, we all got 40 cedis. That's what we hear. But what Baba Jamal did, for which reason everyone was rising up against him, is that what happens in secret, Baba Jamal brought it to the fore. He was sharing television sets after voting had started. This is the video I was looking for. These are delegates collecting 32-inch television sets after voting had already started. How does voting start? Baba Jamal is a superstar. How do you do this thing after voting has started? Voting started at 7 o'clock in the morning. This is happening around 10 o'clock in the morning. Look at the gentleman in the green. Yeah, he's wearing his badge. He's a delegate. He's going to cast his ballot. He's come for his TV. What are you going to do about it? So because the world was scandalized, the whole world was scandalized, that look at what is happening in Ghana. Because the world was scandalized, we all felt that Baba Jamal has exposed all of us, and so Baba Jamal should be pulled down. He should be punished. He should be isolated and dealt with, not because he has done something novel, not because what he did has never happened before, but because he has now come to wash our dirty linen in public. All of us, civil society, journalists, police, all of us, we felt that Baba Jamal has come to wash our dirty linen in public. This is vote buying that we all do in secret. Only Baba Jamal, he's brought it to the fore. We have to punish him because whilst we all buy votes, we don't buy votes this way. We do it quietly. Now, let's come back to the story. Why are we worried about votes buying? Why? And why are we talking about votes buying? I find this completely hypocritical, not because everybody has bought votes before, but because we all sat down and saw the commercialization of the various services of democracy. We saw the commercialization of media, where politicians were now paying money to media to tell the story in a certain way. We saw that. We didn't grow up in a media where our media house is right-wing and left-wing. When I say that I'm a right-wing reporter, it becomes a whole big issue in Ghana because we are not used to that. Those who grew up in America, those who grew up in England, they know that this newspaper is Democrat, this is Republican, this television station is Democrat, that's Republican. That's well grounded over there. But here it's not. Even in 2001, when President Kufuor was the first person to appoint journalists to positions, Alhaji Haruna Atta and Kabla Bray Amir, when President Kufuor appointed into positions, he created a hula baloo. This is Alhaji Haruna Atta. President Kufuor appointed him, I believe, to Ghana Airways, director of Ghana Airways company, something like that. President Kufuor appointed him, and President Kufuor appointed Kabla Bray Amir as his ambassador in Cote d'Ivoire. It created problems. Hey, why is he appointing journalists? So before then, the work was the services that are developed through democracy. Media was thought to be a service through democracy. Civil society is a service. Police, military is a service. Now, subsequent to this, we now saw that media was being taken over by politicians, and radio stations were clearly identifying themselves in the corner of politicians. Politicians were owning media, and the media was running politics, which is okay. There's no problem about it. But they were influencing, and we didn't regulate it and say that you are running politics so that we know where your opinion is coming from. Say that you are not running politics. Say you are against government. Say you are for government. Let's be clear on what is happening. We didn't do that. We kept the conversation around the table. And then politicians now found out that they can actually buy journalists. because journalists were not being well paid. And I'm coming to a very important part of this conversation. Because journalists are not well paid, or because substantial people don't want to do journalism, politicians realize that they can actually pay journalists and pay them to change their opinion. That was not even bad. That's okay, because when a journalist speaks, he's a reporter. Sometimes he is forced to report what he's seeing, and because social media has come, other people are seeing it. So if you're a journalist and you report wrong, the social media people will tell you that, hey, I was there. This is not what happened. We know sometime one journalist got into trouble by describing how fire had gutted somewhere, and the account he gave was completely overturned by the general public who saw what happened, and people sending videos on social media. So the journalist is guided by the fact that if you don't say what it is, social media will come after you. That's always there. We didn't stop there. The politicians now started buying civil society, and that's the most dangerous. And that's why nobody can deal with Baba Jamal. The civil society people that we know, election 2024, the period before election 2024, we all heard that civil society was now being bought. They were paying them money. Civil society that we hold in high esteem, they were paying them money. They were promising them appointments, promising them amendments to constitution, promising them amendments to contract law, promising them committee to amend the EPA Act in Ghana, promising them all kinds of things, and promising them committees. Civil society, the bulwark of democracy that can protect us, they were being paid. Please let me have Baba Jamal's photograph back. And then we are here talking about Baba Jamal was paying some people. Civil society has mortgaged their articles. Media has been bought. Civil society has been bought. When you want promotion in police, we hear the rumors. You have to pay some police officer who is senior, rumored that you have to now pay the police officer and then get your promotion. When you want to be recruited as military, you want to be recruited into the Ghana Armed Forces, you have to know somebody and you have to pay the person. And the person will go and pay another person, and you go to Elwak Stadium and this and that and that. People are paying. When you want scholarship, we are told that you pay. NDC is accusing MPP that you pay. When all these things were going on, we kept quiet. And then now Baba Jamal goes to pay delegates, and then we are shouting that why is he paying delegates? Why is civil society collecting money for the work they do? Should they collect money from politicians? So civil society have an agenda with politicians. We see even posters who will come and say that this one win the election, this one don't win the election. When the matter is not about polls, we see them come in and defend the party position. Posters. And that's fuels the conversation that how are posters also being paid? Pastors are being paid for prophecy. We have heard that. Pastors coming out saying that, oh, this prophecy was procured. And we've seen pain. Everything is being mortgaged. We keep quiet. We enjoy some of it. We the people complaining are the partakers. We the people complaining, we are the payers and we are the receivers. The civil society, the media, the security. We the people who have to complain about Baba Jamal, the members of parliament. We are the people paying and we are the people receiving. But Baba Jamal has brought it into the open. What am I saying? Am I saying therefore that vote buying is okay? Everybody should go and buy vote? No, that's not what I'm saying. Am I going to offer solutions? Surely. I have solutions to offer right here on the touch screen about this vote buying phenomenon. Solutions that can take away the hypocrisy and bring us something good. And I have examples of where in Ghana there's no vote buying. Now let me show you. Here. This is the University of Ghana, Legon. University of Ghana holds elections all the time. They hold primaries. When there's opportunity, as it is now in KNUST, there's an opportunity to elect a new vice chancellor. People campaign to be vice chancellor and they cast a vote. The former president, Professor J.E.A. Mills, he once ran for vice chancellor of the University of Ghana and lost by 1 vote to a science professor called Professor Ivan Adai-Mensah. Professor J.E.A. Mills was defeated in Legon's election to be vice chancellor by a single vote against Professor Adai-Mensah. Now, this is the question I'm asking. When they were doing the vote in Legon between Professor Mills and Professor Adai-Mensah, did they try and buy anybody's vote there? The University Convocation, which voted, the University Council, which voted, there are about maybe 30 people. Did Professor Mills imagine that he's going to give TV to anybody? Did he call another professor and say, oh, Professor Nsako, come, I'm running for this thing, so I'm paying everybody 1,000 cedis, so take your 1,000. Did he do that? Why doesn't he do that? Let's ask ourselves, why doesn't he do that? Because the electoral college that you are going to, they are not people that are men of straw that are going to collect your money before they elect you. No. So there is an electoral college in Ghana where people don't buy votes. University is one of them. There's many more. Let me show you the rest. Let's come to African Union. That's even outside Ghana. President John Dramani Mahama was recently elected vice president of the African Union. In doing so, there was campaigning. Okudzeto Ablakwa campaigned for it. And you campaign and go to people and say that elect my president. Many years ago, Mohamed Ibn Chambers campaigned for Kofi Annan to be made the Secretary General of the United Nations. He went around the world campaigning, reporting to President Kufuor that I've been to Senegal. I think they're difficult, but I'm still talking to them. Washington is here. I've been to Paris, and they're okay with it. When he goes there, he doesn't pay anybody. They don't pay. They don't think about it. It doesn't occur to them that I'm going to pay for the vote. Nobody does that. Let me see this. Parliament of Ghana. They sometimes pay people who are voting for them. That's a rumor. That's a rumor we heard. But the parliament, when they are voting among themselves, when they are voting for Mahama Yariga to be majority leader, when they are voting for Northern Caucus chairman, Ashanti Regional Caucus, they vote, they campaign. Do they pay? They don't pay anybody. So part of the reason why the delegate system payment for the parliamentary elections is because there is poverty. There is poverty among that delegates list. There's poverty. So if we want to change the delegate list, it's not sitting in boardrooms and being hypocritical and writing letters and calling Sahindrin for Baba Jamal to come and appear before some court that we are some big righteous people and Baba Jamal is an evil man, so he appears before court because all of us have done it. That's why when they said he who should cast, who has not signed before, should cast the first stone, Fifi Kwete was not able to cast the first stone. The chairman of the NDC was not able to cast the first stone. The Totobi Kwache committee, they couldn't cast the first stone. They couldn't do nothing. They just saluted Baba Jamal and said, Oga, you have your position, go and take it. What could they do? Because all of them have done it. Everybody on the table has done it. So how are you going to tell Baba Jamal anything? They couldn't say anything. So either we fix the poverty so that nobody needs a 32. Everybody has 32-inch. Everybody has it. Nobody needs it. Everybody has rice cooker. Nobody needs it. Everybody has microwave, or people can afford microwave. They can take a loan and buy microwave. They are working. They have a job. So they are earning 3,000 cedis a month. Microwave is 2,500. They can take a loan and pay small and get a microwave. So they will go to the vote and decide whether Baba Jamal is the right person or so and so is the right person. They vote for that person. They don't need television sets. That's the problem. So you either fix the poverty or alternatives. You change the, okay, they're going to, okay, yeah. The alternatives, I think I have one. Aha, good. Yes, let me go to the next one. So what are the alternatives? You see, when we are filling the forms, when we are filling these forms, we say that when you want an endorsement, they will say that get a senior police officer. Where is he? Is he a senior police officer? A barrister at law of 10 years standing. They say get a medical doctor of something years standing, an engineer of something years standing, or a pastor. There's a pastor inside usually. I think this is the pastor. A pastor of a registered church, blah, blah, blah. If we say that our delegate list will be limited to these people, nobody's going to pay anybody to buy anything. We can't. Can we go this way? Maybe we can. Maybe we cannot. That's another alternative. What's the other? The other alternative is that, as people have been saying, let all MPP members register. Anybody who says it's MPP, register MPP. Anybody who's NDC, register NDC. And then, when it's time to elect a presidential candidate or a party somebody, all of you go vote. So NDC will have about 4 million people voting for the candidate. MPP will have 5 million voting for that. You're going to pay 4 million and 5 million people. That's another alternative. But this is the problem with that one, that both parties are scared. As you may have heard Asidu Ketia say, both parties are scared. Now, they are scared because I can register for MPP today and change my mind and go and register for NDC tomorrow, and that's allowed. But they are scared that NDC will register people into MPP and let them vote for the candidate that NDC wants, the one that they think they can easily defeat. That's a problem, and vice versa. MPP will do the same, NDC will do the same. That's a problem. That's why they are not able to agree on this one. But this is one of the, it happens in America. In America, yes, it happens. Some people are Republican, they go and vote Democrat. Barack Obama registered millions of people to vote for him. A new candidate can come and register millions of people. That's the way to break the oligarchy and the godfatherism and all of that. Because a young candidate, you come up, people don't know you. The delegate system is controlled by some people. But if every MPP is voting, they just vote. But the same young people can also go and vote NDC. It is something we have to live with, and we have to deal with it and hope that people are voting with their conscience. That's the way to build democracy. So this is the problem. This is our take. This is our take on this issue, on Baba Jamal and vote buying. I think we've done more than a necessary time. Let's move on to the next topic then, very quickly, as we expect Fifi Boafo in the studio very soon. Next one is the parliamentarians. The members of parliament. Where are they? Okay. Producer, I'll skip that Fenyo Marking story. Yeah? I'll skip that Fenyo Marking story, and then we can do it on Thursday. Okay. There's another story about how why the parliamentary group. Yes, this one. Now, do we know why the parliamentary group were against Baba Jamal? Let me explain to you why the parliamentary group were against Baba Jamal. It's about the fear of Asiedu Nketia. Johnson Asiedu Nketia is to be feared. He's a chairman of the party, isn't he? Now, what has happened? So, Johnson Asiedu Nketia here was responsible for the removal of Haruna Idrisu and Mubarak Muntaka here, the current Minister for Interior. Mubarak Muntaka and Haruna Idrisu were removed from leadership by Johnson Asiedu Nketia. There were many people who felt that Asiedu Nketia had committed a cardinal sin. But it turned out that the NDC won the election, and Asiedu Nketia was beginning to see signs that the NDC would win the election. And he knew that changing the leadership at the time was the best time to do it, because you have to take them out, and so that he will be in control by the time the election is won. Asiedu Nketia has demonstrated that he has a problem with Mubarak Muntaka. And it was suspected so, but now it is very clear that Asiedu Nketia had a problem with him. I'll come to that. So the reason why Baba Jamal was obstructed by the majority, who wrote a statement that the thing should be annulled and Baba Jamal be banned, is that the majority were scared that Asiedu Nketia, who had asked Baba Jamal to come into the race, was preparing to change Mahama Ayariga. I don't know whether I have Mahama Ayariga's photograph there. He was preparing to change Mahama Ayariga. That's a rumor. The rumor is that Asiedu Nketia is preparing to change Mahama Ayariga with Baba Jamal. Because Baba Jamal is seasoned. He's very seasoned. And he's a 500% Asiedu Nketia man. The story is that since Asiedu Nketia supported Mahama Ayariga to be leader, he's seen Mahama Ayariga is doing too much Jubilee House. He's doing too much on Mahama Jubilee House. It looks like he wants to be with the government people. He should be there. So it's fine. Asiedu Nketia recognized the party as tripartite. The government, the party, and the parliamentary party. Asiedu Nketia believes that he controls two of that. The party and the parliamentary party is controlled by him. And then the government is the government. That's what he believes. So if you are the leader of the parliamentary party and you are doing Jubilee House too much, he gets suspicious. And he has absolute control over the national executive. So if he wants to change you, Oga, you will go. John Mahama cannot save you. John Mahama is one vote and he may not even attend because a busy president. He may not attend. He will send somebody. And that somebody cannot stand in front of Asiedu Nketia and say nothing is out. So if Asiedu Nketia doesn't want you to be majority leader, Oga, prepare. You are going to leave. Now that is the fear that Asiedu is bringing Baba Jamal to come and take this position. It is that fear that got Mahama Ayariga to mobilize the majority in parliament to issue a statement and say, party, cancel the election and don't let Baba Jamal and all those who participated. That was the important catch. You see, they didn't say just annul the election. They said annul the election, but don't let Baba Jamal participate in the next one. All those who were found, blah, 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 they cast vote on Baba Jamal. So right now, there's fear of Baba Jamal in parliament. Because if NDC were to win the Ayawaso West, and they could win, if they are to win the Ayawaso West election, Baba Jamal walks into the parliament. Baba is senior to some of them in the party. He's very senior. Baba has been there since about maybe 94, something like that. Baba has been around for a while. He was News Coordinating Secretary long time ago, very long time ago. So Baba Jamal is senior to quite a few of them in the party. So if he walks into that parliament, he's senior to Nelson, Roxy, the chief whip, Daffy Amakpo. Oh, Baba Jamal is senior to him many, many years. Baba Jamal is senior to Ato Forsen. So Baba Jamal is with Haruna Idrisu the same, or maybe even slightly senior to Haruna Idrisu. Baba Jamal is Elvis Efie Ankra, Samuel Ofuso Ampofo. That's NDC people. That's Baba Jamal's level. That's his mates in NDC. Samuel Ofuso Ampofo. That's long time ago. Very, very long time ago. When Kwesi Boche was there, Baba Jamal was in the youth. So Baba Jamal is a towering figure. He's not some simple guy. And he now has the support of the chairman. He and the chairman are together. They are twins. And they are working towards an ambition in the party. So Ayariga knows that Baba Jama walking into the parliament is not simple for him, because he also knows that he has been doing Jubilee instead of doing party. He's been doing quite a bit of Jubilee. He knows that. So they decided that this is an opportunity. Let's block him out. And they failed. So he's coming into the thing. And Asedu Nketia is very focused. You see, he doesn't forgive and he doesn't do that. Let's come back to his fight with Muntaka. Look at the time he removed Muntaka and Haruna Idrisu. In fact, the story was that it was only Muntaka that was being removed. But then Haruna Idrisu was added because Muntaka was the target. Asedu Nketia, for some reason, didn't like him. Now, Muntaka recently held a press conference that made NDC look bad. He held a press conference and said that in the Kaswa shooting during the election, the one that they said Hawa Kumsin was holding a gun, that there was no gun held by Hawa Kumsin, there was no shooting. He completely exonerated Hawa Kumsin. I'll show you that video in a minute. But yesterday, Johnson Asedu Nketia responded to Muntaka in very brutal words and said that whatever Muntaka said was wrong. See the video of Johnson Asedu Nketia. Have a look at the video.
Obia issue statement is said, Kaswa DC has Onya evidence here. Yanya Palau. Yanya Palau. And Utiana Diatum said, and to trust Amonia, Yen Trasia, Yen Rantuano. Mimi Madame Fulia Katasuno, and Yagmobi. I don't think, say, I'm too sad among one. Next election, Obia Bemusa, Yasika, the Jaffa and Jaffa. Now, if I say a second, Obia Bolivia, the job we are now, let's do that to trust and nothing. And ultimately, when you have the power of buying,
well, sorry about the sound. We should have maybe subtitled it because the sound was not that clear. He says that recently somebody issued a statement that nothing happened in Kaswa, and that's balderdash, that nobody is a child. The things that happened in Kaswa happened, and we all saw it. Who issued a statement that something happened in Kaswa? It's the government. It's the government that researched it. It's not opposition. It's the government. And who did the statement? Mubarak Muntaka. The same man that Asedu Nketia had overthrown from parliament, who is now Minister of Interior. Asedu Nketia goes to Kaswa where the report was done. And he's saying it months after that, Yanyan Kola, we are not children. We do that balderdash he came to tell us that nothing happened. We won't take it. But you won't take it. It's me that you are telling. What should I do? I don't have anything to do with it. You see, Asedu Nketia is very clever. He's going around mopping up votes in the party and mopping up support for his agenda. His agenda may not necessarily be he running for president, even though he is, but his agenda includes putting people in certain places. His agenda includes getting a certain swell of the votes on his side so that he can deploy those votes to any agenda that he sets his mind on. And he's a very clever politician. That's what he is. He has a lot of time and he has a lot of money. So that, yes, Asedu Nketia has a lot of money. Who said you think he doesn't have money? He has a lot of money. In the coming days, I'll be showing you how much money Kweku has. Asedu Nketia has a lot. He has plenty of money. Forget about how he appears. He is a very wealthy man. He's rich. Papa Asedu Nketia is rich. I'm telling you. Forget about even his Gapoha board chairman. He's already rich before Gapoha. So don't look at him and be taken in by his appearance. Kweku is a billionaire. Kweku is a billionaire. Asedu Nketia has a lot of money. So he has money to push the propaganda. And that's what he's doing. He's mobilizing the party people so that they will be on his side, so that he can create an opinion. And that opinion will have a groundswell of support. And that opinion will hold. And he's telling the party people, I'm with you. They are not with you. Those in appointment are not you. I am you. And that's really what he's doing. I don't know whether the people in Jubilee House have observed it. And those who want to contest, whether they've observed that the ground on which they stand is being removed by Asedu Nketia. Gradually, he's pulling the ground from Ato Forson's feet. He's pulling the ground from the Vice President's feet. He's pulling the ground from Haruna Idrisu's feet. He's pulling the ground from Julius Debre's feet. Asedu Nketia is the most clever man in the NDC. He's pulling the ground from everybody's feet. And by the time you see, you all cave in, and it will cover, and he will stand on top and hold the umbrella, and he will tell you that I told you so. Next time you want more information, Asedu Nketia, check onto our Facebook page. There's so much to share with you over there. Next, we'll be talking about cocoa. But before then, let's go to the text messages and see how people have received our presentations. It's 27 minutes to the top of the hour, 11 o'clock. This is Good Evening Ghana is live. Fifi Boafo has taken his seat. He'll tell us a lot about cocoa, not a lot about cocoa. Who should I start with in a text? I think Fatih is first. Fatih, what are people saying?
Thank you, Paul. Benedanza says the massive votes buying can only end if the following stringent measures are set out in the party's constitution governing internal elections in Australia enforced. One is disqualify accused candidates and ban them from over-contesting for political office. Two, annual results that favors candidates who bribed delegates to win. Arafat says the biggest problem of this country is the NDC as a political party and the hypocrisy of the NDC supporters. Al-Hassan Abel also says NDC isn't good for Ghanaians, very corrupt party, NDC never again. Junior Akbar from Tamale says NDC will never punish Baba Jamal because they believe in what he did. Like NPP, there would have been an investigation for the OSP. Master Planner Junior from Kentampo says Baba Jamal cannot be used as a scapegoat. Majority of the MPs in NDC did worse than what Baba Jamal did. They should give us a break. He who preaches equality must come with clean hands. They don't support Baba Jamal's bid. That is why. Kofi Owusu-Mensah says the civil society is no more in existence. It's dead. Safui Fambali says, please, I want to buy your book and I'm in Tamale, so how do I get it, Paul? Honorable Phillips says, you are right. People always believe the propaganda of the NDC. See how the NDC propaganda against Nanado and Dr. Baumia has been widely believed by a gullible section of Ghanaians. Sad. It's sad people do not know the NDC for who they are. Junior Agba says, upon all noise NDC, when they are in power, no one can misbehave like the way Baba Jamal did. And this is just a lesson to the good people of Ghana. I know NDC will come out strongly with another propaganda to promise the good people of Ghana, but don't trust them. Lastly, EBOFA says Ghanaians have themselves to blame. When PhD holders cannot explain in terms, let alone complex terms. Remember, Udon. Anzaba.
Thank you very much, Fatih. Coming from Ahad Bob City, he says, Paul, Assalamu alaikum to you and all of you in the studio. In the coming days and months, so many issues will pop up against the NDC. Their honeymoon is gradually fading, and when things begin to hit them, they will realize their smoothness levels. Samofosuba says, the moral decadence in Ghana as of now has affected all and sundry in the public institutions. This has caused corruption in every sector in the jurisdiction, from the presidency to the primary schools in the remotest villages. This is a very pathetic being of the country. I am afraid for the future of the youth who are observing all of these evil practices happening in our communities. The respected authorities must sit up in doing the needful and eradicate these balderdash. Kingsley Nana Amwako says, good evening, Paul. No one can do anything to Jamal. He scaled through with massive vote buying live in the full glare of the NDC executives. EBOFS says the civil society is the most compromised group in Ghana. And lastly, coming from Atta Iduse, he says propaganda was applied to get the votes of farmers, automatic employment to get the votes of nurses and the teachers. Now the reality has dawned on the government and the generality of Ghanaians. Propaganda is the hallmark of the socialist, and vindication is in the womb of time. Over to you, Paul.
Yes, welcome back to the show. Thank you very much, Anzaba. And Fifi is here with us to share with us some of the, so the Cocoa Board story has been going on. You know what it is. Cabinet, the whistleblowing was started by Miracles Abuaje and Fifi Boafo, who was at Cocoa Board. And the Cocoa Board, through Dr. Randy Abe, who is the chief executive, responded. And the government announced an emergency cabinet meeting to resolve the Cocoa Board issues. And that's where many people started taking the matter serious that, hey, if government is calling an emergency cabinet meeting, then perhaps it's not propaganda, it's probably true. Anyway, so the government press conference, then government cabinet meeting, then ended with an announcement by the Minister for Finance and Economic Planning. The Honorable Kesela Toforsen indicated that given all the circumstances, the government was unable to pay cocoa farmers the promised profits that they agreed to pay them per bag and per ton of cocoa. The circumstances, the government had reduced the prices for the cost of a bag almost by 1,000 Ghana cedis of what the farmers were expecting. All hell broke loose and everyone was complaining. NDC held the view that they have arrived at that decision because the MPP had messed up Cocoa Board before. And last week we spoke to the Honorable Edu here, who demonstrated stupendous understanding of the situation. You must have seen him on Newsfile on Saturday, where he was great again, speaking about the matters. He holds the view that MPP actually laid a fantastic foundation, given the times and seasons that MPP worked in at the Cocoa Board in terms of what has happened around the globe. The President Mahama and the NDC have not been able to very strongly point to international situations for which reason that this is happening, international exigencies, as I should say, for which reason that this cocoa situation is happening. Because during the campaign, President Mahama and the NDC refused to accept that the economic situation of Ghanaians had been turned upside down as a result of international situations that were beyond Ghana's control, especially the Russia-Ukraine war. They laughed about it. And recently I saw somebody say on social media that the Russian-Ukraine war is still going on. Why is the city doing well? And I was sad because Russia-Ukraine war fundamentally displaced supply chain situations. And the world is not going to sit down for supply chains to be disturbed without it being replaced. It was replaced, and it's replaced at a cost. And so the immediate beneficiaries of the new supply chain were going to pay more for a bag of rice because somebody is coughing up his money to now create a diversion from the Ukraine channel, and so that people can get their rice, they can get their sorghum, they can get their wheat in Egypt, they can get everything. All of that is going to come at a cost before it will settle down at the original cost once again. That takes a year, 2, maybe 30 months. And that 30 months arrives in 2025, and people say that prices have come down. Prices started coming down at the time the world started finding solutions to the Russia-Ukraine war supply chain. But fair enough, politics is politics, and you can take advantage of anything. So because the President Mahama and the NDC took advantage of that, now they are not able to say that, oh, it is an international cocoa price, because Ghanaians will tell them that, what are you talking about? Because when that happened, they said that, oh, but look at Ivory Coast. Ivory Coast too went through COVID. Why is the situation like that? So today Ghanaians said, but look at Ivory Coast. What Ghana did for COVID, no African country did it. And that's why Akufo-Addo was applauded. The amount of money Ghana spent in protecting its citizens for COVID, no African, South Africa didn't do it. Egypt didn't do it. Morocco didn't do it. Ghana did so much. And so Ghana was going to be more affected. But that's okay. That's a different conversation. It's gone. It will come back. So the people are telling the NDC that, but look at Ivory Coast. You say that you cannot, Ivory Coast didn't reduce their price. And Ivory Coast is producing more cocoa than Ghana. So they are the world's largest producer of cocoa. So if the cocoa price has fallen, Ivory Coast, the world's largest producer, should bear the brunt more than any other person. But now this is Ivory Coast that is keeping the price. So in all of these conversations, we woke up yesterday and Cocoa Board says that, okay, you don't like everything we are saying. We've taken another step. Now we have reduced the salaries of our people, because you are saying that we are cutting heads of the farmers and we are not cutting heads of the chief executive and the others. So we have done it. So that has been done. That has been announced. Some people were happy, some people were not happy. The conversation now is about that. And welcome Fifi Boafo to the studio.
Thanks, Paul.
And you worked at Cocoa Board. In what capacity?
So I first worked as the manager at the office of the chief executive, and later on additional responsibility as the head of the public affairs department.
Oh, you didn't start as public affairs?
No. I started
because you were coming from media, everyone assumed that.
Yeah. I first went there as a manager at the office of the chief executive, like a PR, not a PR person, but as a PA to the chief executive. So you run the office of the chief executive. Okay. And then later on, I was given additional responsibility at the public affairs department.
So you will be called a senior manager or so top management?
Yes, I was part of management. So I started as a manager, senior manager, and later on as a director.
Oh, okay. So you ended as a director.
Yeah.
So were you sacked?
Well, the chief executive, when he took over, said, well, he feels that I'm too MPP to continue being in employment of Cocoa Board. So he'll be...
Were you given a letter?
No, well, we had a discussion with the chief executive.
That you are too MPP?
Yes, I was too MPP.
Did you want to remain?
Well, that wasn't my intention, but I felt that there was my decision to either choose to stay or choose to move. And I was a public servant. I did not go there as a political appointee. So it was my decision to either stay or not. But then the chief executive was of the view that, well, you are the spokesperson of the MPP, a vice presidential candidate, you cannot continue working at Cocoa Board. And I said, well...
You were a vice presidential candidate?
No, the spokesperson of the vice presidential candidate, Napo, during the
okay.
During the 2024 election. So, well, you cannot continue. I said, well, in Honorable Aid, who was the chief executive constituency, you had the Cocoa Board staff who contested to be the NDC parliamentary candidate, continued to work at Cocoa Board. In fact, our sector minister, Brian Achampo's constituency, he contested the NDC candidate, was a Cocoa Board staff. He's still at post. So what is the big deal if I was spokesperson for the MPP running mate? And he felt that, well, it will be in my own interests. He said, if I mind it, I should resign because politicians can do anything and he doesn't want to get there.
Said, that's not a very nice conversation.
Oh, yeah. And I was actually surprised that he said that politicians can do anything. So if I mind it, I should resign. And I said, well,
except that we can't take your word for it because he's not here. So you are telling us one side of the story. We don't know whether
I'm not too sure
that's true.
The chief executive will say something to the contrary. But then this was a conversation I had with him in his office. And then I said, well, thank you very much. So immediately I left. I handed my resignation letter and left.
Okay. So now, let's start with the NDC says the states in which the MPP inherited Cocoa Board, it was positive. Then the MPP ran it down for 8 years. And now MPP is complaining. They say that in 2016, they left Cocoa Board with 1.9 billion surplus.
Well, it wasn't surplus. They are talking about assets as compared to liabilities of the organization. But what they have not said is the fact that when we took over in 2017, Cocoa Board was indebted to the tune of 19.6 billion. Mm-hmm. And this 19.6 billion included monies they've drawn from the Bank of Ghana, which we had to retire. Apart from that, they had also gone for a facility for the syndicating banks to the tune of $1.8 billion. By 30th December, all the 1.3...
Of which year?
Of 2016.
Mm-hmm.
All the $1.8 billion had been expended. Not one Ghana cedi was at Cocoa Board. So when the MPP administration took over, there was not a single money to run Cocoa Board.
But that's not the impression they gave. So they said that they left 1.9 billion on.
They were talking about assets. So when you value the assets of Cocoa Board, no, not cash.
Oh, okay.
So when you value the assets of Cocoa Board,
but assets is not something that was done by NDC in 4 years. Assets of Cocoa Board has been, or they mean assets they've added between 2013 and 2016.
Assets against liabilities.
General assets.
General assets.
Including Cocoa House.
Yes.
Which is 1960. No, is that what it means?
That's what it means, yeah.
So they calculate assets of the company at the time they're exiting.
Yes, against the liabilities of the company.
Including all the assets that they inherited.
Yes.
Okay.
So we had 19.6 billion Ghana cedis as debt. Apart from that, the syndication, they had expended everything. So management and the board had to take a decision to go to the Bank of Ghana to raise money to buy cocoa. That year, they had projected to buy 850,000 metric tons of cocoa. And they bought just about 500,000 metric tons. And management and board had to take a decision to go to the Bank of Ghana.
So they had been able to buy 500 metric tons as against the 800 they projected to buy.
Yes.
Okay, so there was no money, and then they left.
They left.
Okay, so they left because they had to go.
They had to
Time
go
was
because
up.
they had lost power.
Yeah, so if they had remained, they may have been able to buy it.
Of course, they knew very well that he had drawn down part of the money, I think about 1.2 billion. Immediately they lost the election. They did the drawdown of the remaining amount and spent everything before they left office.
On what?
On paying contractors, among other things.
Okay.
Yes.
So the spending was legitimate?
Oh, yes, was legitimate.
Okay.
But
So
if they are talking about funds to run the organization, you had cocoa to buy. You had said you're going to pay.
So that should have been a priority.
A priority.
Okay. So you can judge them for the prioritization of how the money was spent at the last minute.
But of course, they were leaving office. They had to, at least their people who they've given their contract to, they had to pay them before they leave.
Okay, otherwise they suspect you will not pay them.
Sure.
Okay, so that's the state of affairs under which
Cocoa
Board was taken.
Yes.
Is that normal for Cocoa Board at the beginning of the year when new government comes in January, February? Is it normal for Cocoa Board to have bought some beans and haven't bought the rest? And is that very normal?
Well, yes. The main crop usually ends by ending of February, and that's why you buy the majority part of the cocoa. So yes, the expectation was that you buy a majority and then you start the light crop season, which starts after March. But the fact that you had gone for a facility of 1.8 billion, you were not to spend everything at the time you've not bought your projected amount of cocoa. Indeed, that year, we bought over 900,000 metric tons of cocoa. So you needed funds from Bank of Ghana. So at the time we were starting Cocoa Board in 2017, we had there to take care of.
So the production rate at that time was 900,000 metric tons?
Yes, over 900,000 metric tons.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So we had to find money to buy cocoa. But you see, this
nearly 1 million tons.
Nearly 1 million tons.
Which is really the target.
Yes. And indeed, under the MPP, we did 1 million tons.
Under Edu?
Yes.
Are you serious?
Yes.
Which
the
year?
Highest, this was in 2020. I'll double check that. But I think 2020, 2021. The highest Ghana has ever experienced in terms of production happened under Joseph Edu.
Of cocoa? I thought it happened under, after Isaac Osei.
Yes, but
that was the 1 million tons.
Yes, but we beat that record.
Oh, are you serious?
Yes. We beat that record.
They didn't say much about it.
Well, we felt that there were other things that were more important to the industry apart from beating the record of the 2010, 2011.
So you bought cocoa in 2017?
Yes, we did.
With the syndicates. So you borrowed money from Bank of Ghana?
Borrow money.
For 17 you did. 18, what happened?
18, of course, we had to go for another syndication, but you still had these contracts hanging on the necks of Cocoa Board. I was looking at a document today, I'll share it with you. Around December, Cocoa Board had to go for about 750 million.
December of which year?
2017. To retire some of these facilities, medium-term facilities they had procured under the previous administration, just to stabilize Cocoa Board in order for management.
And this borrowing was done at domestic Bank
domestic,
of Ghana?
Yes, from Bank of Ghana.
Okay. So you did that in 18. 19, what happened?
19, we did the syndication.
Again. So you were able to buy the cocoa?
We were able to buy the cocoa.
And then COVID came in. 2020, did you sell cocoa?
Yes, we did. But 2020 was a very difficult year. You realize that in 2017, 2018, 2019, and even 2020, this was at a time where the world market price was that low. Because when the MPP came in, the world market...
How much per ton?
Yeah, the world market price prior to the MPP coming in 2017 was about 3,500. But at the time the MPP came in, the price had dropped to as low as 1,800 a ton.
That's 17.
2017.
Then 18.
And then so the price stayed between 2,001 to 2,600. That is the weighted average achieved within that period. The price only saw a significant jump in 2023, 2024.
How much?
And then it went up to about 10,000.
Okay, that's significant.
That's very significant. And that was the latter part of the MPP administration. And then it moved on to about 13,000 in 2025. So everybody within the industry felt that this was a time for the Cocoa Board to be able to repay the debt that had accumulated over the years. Because yes, you inherited some debt, you had to find a way of servicing these debts, and then you were not also making much profit, bearing in mind the price was very low at the time. So you had to find a way of servicing this debt. And this was the situation over the years. So it is very surprising to realize that despite all these challenges the MPP inherited at the time, the NDC now seemed to create the impression that, well, when the MPP took over in 2017, it was all rosy, everything was perfect at Cocoa Board. That was not the case.
So why was Cocoa Board running losses?
Cocoa Board was running losses because, yes, in 2017, for example, you had inherited a situation where the world market price was 3,500. It has now dropped to about 2,000. And you have to maintain the price. Government was of the view that, considering the support government or Ghana has received from cocoa farmers, it was a time for government to also show good faith with these farmers by maintaining the price rather than reducing it. And by maintaining the price came at a cost. So, for example, Cote d'Ivoire, that today says that they have maintained their price. You had the president of Cote d'Ivoire coming to town to engage President Akufo-Addo to say that, Mr. President, the situation is that bad. I want you to reduce the price of cocoa farmers in your country because I'm doing same in my country and I'm getting a backlash. So I want you to do same. President Akufo-Addo insisted that no, he was not going to reduce the price of cocoa farmers in Ghana because cocoa farmers in Ghana deserve that at least for all that they have done for Ghana cocoa and the country over the years. So President Akufo-Addo stayed with cocoa farmers and paid them. And this is the reason why part of the debt we talk about today came about.
Because you paid the farmers even when the price was low?
Yes.
Okay.
So government had to cushion them. And today, the people who have inherited Cocoa Board say that, well, they do not understand why Cocoa Board should have debt on its books, as if over the years, Cocoa Board has always had a positive balance sheet. That is not the case, and it is surprising they are raising these issues at this time.
So let's understand the payment system. The price, what in 2024, when the MPP was leaving, what was the price promised farmers?
So in 2024, Cocoa Board usually runs from, or the cocoa calendar, I should say, runs from October to September the following year. So usually you hear 23-24 or 24-25. So in 24-25, Cocoa Board gave farmers or promised farmers 3,100 Ghana cedis. Indeed, their initial announcement was 3,000.
So you promised them this in September?
Yes,
when did they
in
get
October 2020, in September 2024.
Yeah, when did they get the money?
And they started getting the money when we started selling cocoa.
So the cocoa is ready to be sold from September?
Yes, from September to October.
Up to February?
Up to September the following year.
Okay, so when you announce the price this September,
yes,
that's the price until September when you announce a new one.
Yes.
So if I bring you a bag of cocoa, you give me 3,000 cedis.
3,100.
But there are licensed places where we buy, platforms where we buy. So I take it to a buyer, he gives me 3,000. One bag, 3,000. One bag, 3,000. So I take 2 bags, I collect 6,000. I'm gone.
Yes.
1 ton is how much?
A ton at a time.
13 bags.
16
bags is 1 ton.
Yes.
So 3,000 times 16. And that gives me 1 ton. That's all I get for the year, or what?
It depends on your production numbers.
Okay.
So,
but how many bags can a farmer produce in that period? September.
It depends. I know a farmer who in central region around Asinfosu who told me he produced about 1,200 bags.
Oh, that's okay.
Yes.
So 1,200 at 6,000 each, which was promised. He's in heaven.
Oh yes, he's in heaven.
Okay. And so you promised that. So 2024 to 2025. Was a figure that you gave the NDC had to abide by it.
Yes, 3,100.
NDC had to by force do it.
What was it by force? Because these were the people who were promising the farmers they were going to pay them 6,000.
I get that. So when the MPP promised 3,000 in September, which was campaign time, the NDC said that the 3,000 they have promised you, we can give you 6,000.
Yes.
If you vote for us, you get 6,000. But you only get 6,000 at the next September. Or you can change it in the middle.
In fact, you can actually change it because even though we said at the beginning of the season that we'll give them 3,000, we actually gave them 3,100.
Okay.
Because of the value of the CD had worsened. Okay. So we felt that we're in a position to pay more.
Okay, so government can always change in the middle.
You can only add, but not subtract.
Yes, government can always add in the middle.
Yes.
So when the NDC promised...
Let me explain this. The reason why you can add is that at the beginning of the season, what we give the farmers is the minimum guaranteed price. You announce the minimum guaranteed price.
Oh, okay, to say that we can't go below this, but we may go up.
We may go up.
Okay.
And that is why at the end of the season, if the price was good and they were able to do some spot sale and had a better price, what you do is to give the farmer some bonus. So in a season where the market wasn't good, you do not give the farmer that bonus. So
but the minimum is the minimum.
The minimum
that's accepted. So the farmer can plan with the minimum.
Precisely.
Okay. So when you announced the 3,500,
3,100
in September, it was the minimum till the next September.
Precisely.
And the farmers had heard the NDC say that we can give you 6,000 cedis. Okay. So when the NDC came into office, were the farmers expecting that they will amend the minimum to the 6,000? Was that the expectation?
Yes, based on the promise, because they were going around saying that in the first 3 weeks of the NDC administration, they were actually going to change the price to 6,000 because President Akufo-Addo was wicked. President Akufo-Addo was not paying.
Yes, I have a video of Atufosi going around today, wearing a jersey, sitting in a studio talking like that. Okay,
many of
it. Okay, so but the international cocoa price, when it's agreed, is it agreed for a year or every month it changes?
The price may even change within hours.
So it's traded?
It's traded.
24 hours?
24 hours.
So when they announce the price, what does it mean for today?
So if you go to the portal, it will be indicating, depending on what happens on the market within the day, it might stay the same or it might fluctuate.
Or is it the case that most of cocoa is sold by forward sales? Is it most of cocoa sold rather than sold on the spot?
So it is usually companies that want to process now. They will buy on the spot, because usually what happens is that on the spot, especially when the market is high, then the spot price will be higher than the futures market. So people will not be interested in buying on the spot, but they would rather want to trade on the futures market. And it also helps with the planning of these companies. These are big multinationals. They don't want to say that, so for example, I want to process this quantity. They will wait and go to the spot market and say that I want to buy. If you get to the market and the cocoa is not available, you are in trouble.
So the prices change. So
changes,
from September, when you named the price of 3,100, could it be that, did the price fall? Did the price go down between September 2024 and January 2025?
It did not. It actually went up.
It went up. So farmers were expecting that their 6,000 will come.
Precisely.
Because actually prices have gone up. Do the farmers get to know that prices have gone up?
Oh, yes. I think that this is information that is shared
with them.
So they get to know that.
Metro TV. Insightful.
25.
Yes.
Then you guys left. So some farmers paid in February 2025?
Yes, farmers were paid in February.
At what price were they paid?
They were still paid 3,100.
Okay, so farmer NDC maintained the 3,100.
They maintained the 3,000 until the end of the season.
Season ending September 2025.
Yes, but this time, rather interestingly, they decided to end the season in August instead of September. Well, maybe it was as a result of some actions on the part of the new managers of Cocoa Board. This is what happened. The chief executive and his team were going around the country telling cocoa farmers, you know what, next year we'll give you a bigger price.
Bigger than 6,000?
Bigger than the 3,100, which they were paying. What came out of that announcement was that now the farmers were not delivering the cocoa anymore, because you've told them that I'm going to pay you something more than 3,100.
So they were hoarding?
They were hoarding. So either the farmer will hoard the cocoa, either the licensed buying company will hoard it, or you have some business people who buy the cocoa from the cocoa farmers, keep it when the new announcement comes out, then they will deliver it to the licensed buying company and get their cut out.
So somebody can do business with this. So a businessman who is rich can decide that the price is 3,001. Government is promising 6,000. Charlie, let me get that's double.
Yes.
So let me take my money, 1 million cedis.
So usually,
go and buy cocoa, and if I'm getting double, I'm getting 2 million cedis.
Yes.
So I'll buy, keep it in a warehouse, maybe pay the warehouse something, wait for the LBCs. Or if I'm an LBC myself, I can buy on the side.
Exactly.
Or management of LBC can go to take a bank loan and buy it on the side and hold it in the LBC's warehouse.
They do that. So usually, as chief executive or as official of Cocoa Board, the last thing you should do is to go out and say that we are going to increase the price. And you hear them, they will be calling you, Charlie, are you guys going to increase the price? Because they want to prepare themselves for that act. So I was surprised when the chief executive was going around the country giving such an announcement. All that he was doing was to say that, well, don't bring the cocoa to us, keep it. And this was the time we needed the cocoa to deliver.
Because the international price was good.
Because the international price was good.
So why did they end it in August? So what was the explanation of the August?
Well, the way they said, well, they were going to do something different. As to how different, I do not know. But then, in September, they announced the price, and the difference was less than 200 cedis.
Difference of upward difference?
And the upward difference was less than 200 cedis.
Which is the 3,000 spots?
It was about 3,200 and something.
That's in September 2025.
That is August 2025.
August 2025, they announced the new price, which was already told. The new price is coming. And when the new price came, it was a disappointment.
Very, very disappointing.
There was only 100 cedis added.
Yes.
And what did the farmers do?
The farmers expressed their disappointment, and they came with all sort of stories. Of course, the cedi gaining against the dollar was one of the reasons they cited, among other things.
The cedi gain against the dollar, therefore, your 3,200 in your hand has more value than perhaps even if I did 3,600.
Yes. Yeah. They also talked about the fact that there were some rollover contracts that were left by the MPP administration, and the rollover contract also pulled down the weighted average you would derive at the PPRC. So it affected the farmer income. And then at the point, I think the dollar started gaining some strength against the CD. So they were forced to increase the price to 3,625. Only for them now to say that, well, they are drawing down the price from 3,600 to 2,500.
So this 2,500 price announced in February today, it has kicked in.
Yes,
so if I take cocoa tomorrow, I'll get 2,500.
You get 2,500.
Until when?
Till the end of the season.
September. And the reason is that the price of cocoa has fallen to 4,000.
And that is where the problem is. Because at the beginning of the season, you gave us a weighted average of 7,200. And the 7,200...
Of what? 7,200 what?
7,200 Ghana cedis for a ton.
For a ton?
For a ton, yes. It therefore means that you are going to get 3,625 for a bag.
Okay.
And the $7,200, of course, when you do the exchange, and that's how much you get.
That's $7,200.
Dollars, yes.
But the bag is cedis. 3,600 is cedis.
Yes. And that is the minimum guaranteed price for the cocoa farmer.
Yes, so you can't come below that.
So you cannot come below that.
And the below is significant.
Significant. Over 1,000 Ghana cedis on a bag of cocoa. Almost 30% decrease.
So what do you predict? Farmers are going to hoard and wait for something?
Well, it is possible the farmers may hoard, but the real challenge is also now smuggling. Because in Cote d'Ivoire, they have announced that they are not reducing the price.
What's their price?
The price is about equivalent of 3,600 Ghana cedis for a bag of cocoa.
Oh.
Yes.
So you sell it in Cote d'Ivoire, you get 3,600. You sell it in Ghana, you get 2,500.
2,500.
Cote d'Ivoire and Ghana is 1 hour in between.
So
the border is not secured.
Another worrying thing I've been tossing in my mind is the fact that we have Ghana Cote d'Ivoire Cocoa Initiative. One of the reasons why we set up the initiative was to ensure that we are able to close the smuggling gap and to ensure that you do not have cocoa being smuggled from one country to the other. I'm surprised how they arrived at 2,500. Did they engage the Ghana Cote d'Ivoire Cocoa Initiative? Did they talk to the Ivorian counterparts? Is it because they did not talk to the Ivorian counterpart? That is why you had the Ivorians coming out to issue a statement to say that we are maintaining our price at this time.
Because they want to attract the cocoa beans to themselves. And Ghana cocoa is better than theirs.
It is.
So they are happy that your price has gone down. This is part of the foreign minister's work, isn't it? Foreign minister, Minister of Agri. Let me ask you one question before I come to the changes in the cocoa salaries of the big people. The cocoa board and the Ministry of Agri and the Ministry of Finance, does it make any difference?
Well, under Ministry of Agri, I think the reason why under the MPP was moved to Ministry of Agri was the fact that Cocoa Board had some challenges in terms of production. And the emphasis at the time was that let's ensure that we are able to improve our productivity as a country. And the result is what we saw, producing over 1 million metric tons. Years after that, the cocoa swallowing shoot virus disease became a major problem which we had to deal with. So it has affected our production numbers, but that was the reason. But I think the suggestion in moving Cocoa Board to Ministry of Finance is that, well, Cocoa Board has issues with the finances, and there's the need for Ministry of Finance to pay particular attention to what happens at Cocoa Board, and that is the reason why it's been moved to Ministry of Finance. But Paul, the truth is that Cocoa Board has a representative of the Ministry of Finance, either the minister or a minister of state or a deputy minister.
On the board of Cocoa Board as a director.
Yes, as a director. Yeah. Same as Ministry of Agri, also have a representative on the board of Cocoa Board. So I'm not too sure whether moving it to the ministry is what solves the problem. But well, it depends on who is the president and what the
Okay, now let's talk about, so as of now, Afenyo Markin says that the government should stop buying the presidential jets and pay cocoa farmers. So how much money does government need to raise from this? So the money they are raising from the domestic bond is to pay farmers 2,500.
Well, they say that will be for next year.
Oh, no. So this one is settled. They're not doing anything about it?
No. And that is the problem because you gave the
So let's say how much are they promising? Or they have been saying?
We are not there yet. But this is...
But they're also saying that they are giving the farmer 70%.
That is, they are talking about even 90% now.
No, they said they are giving the farmer what they promised, which is dividing it into 3. They are giving the farmer 2/3.
So it is what they call the achieved FOB. So granted, they are giving the farmer 70%. 70% of 7,200. So why are they now saying that the weighted average is 4,100? You see the confusion?
No, I don't understand it. 70% out of what is 70% of 7,000.
It's supposed to be 70% of $7,200.
Yes.
And today they are saying it is 90% of $4,100.
$4,100. Where is 4,000 coming from?
It is coming from what they consider to be the new
price of a ton.
The price of a ton.
Yeah, that's the international price of a ton today.
But it does not come in. You made mention of the fact that Honorable Edu was here and talked about what has brought us to this stage. We are here because when you were supposed to sell, you failed to sell, the price has dropped, and now you are saying that the farmer must suffer for it.
Oh, okay, so that you derelicted your duty. You didn't sell the cocoa to raise money then, so you have enough money to keep the price. But why couldn't the cocoa be sold? Because the farmers didn't take the cocoa.
No, but you don't even need the farmers to bring the cocoa for you to sell.
What do you need to
Because you do a forward contract. And with a forward contract, you don't have to get the cocoa in stock before you sell.
So what happened? So why is there cocoa unsold?
It was just because some people, like you said, the reduction of duty.
So we are now waiting for the price to appreciate to sell that cocoa.
Well, I do not know what they are going to do now with them telling us that they are looking at 4,100. The price is actually 3,100. So when you sell, how are you even going to reach the 4,100 you talk about? We do not know.
But with the cocoa that is being kept, how long can we keep it before it goes bad?
Well,
or cocoa can stay for long.
It can stay for some time, but it's also not that cheap because you have to pay warehousing costs. You have to.
The warehouse not belong to government?
No, some of them belong to government, but of course, also rent some warehouses.
Okay.
You have to pay warehousing costs. And apart from paying warehousing costs, you must also do some fumigation, and you have maintained the cocoa to get the quality to sell at the time you may decide to sell. And if it stays longer, you are in trouble. You may have to get a company to process it to liquor, butter, and cake, and gives you opportunity to
it's an interesting conversation. Okay, let's get finally onto the money matters. Now, you say, Cocoa Board say that they have reduced their prices. People are happy with it. You say that they reduced their salaries. People are happy with it. You say that it's a zero-sum game.
Oh, yes. It's just, the NDC started this whole conversation in trying some PR tricks, something that does not address the problem. The problem is that cocoa farmers have sold their cocoa, and for almost 4 months, they've not been paid. It is your responsibility to pay them. And now they say that, oh, well, they had rollover contracts. Yes, there was a debt at Cocoa Board. Yes, they bought juice sacks and all manner of stories. They've tried all that. It didn't wash. Now the new story is that, okay, well, we've reduced the farmer's price. People are complaining. So let us also tell them that we reduce the price, the salaries of Cocoa Board staff. Paul, you promised the cocoa farmer that you give the farmer $3,625 for a bag. The farmer has decided now to hire farm hands to help. That laborer is not going to charge the farmer anything less than what was agreed. The farmers, based on the promise of $3,625, decided to buy fungicides and other chemicals to maintain the farms. They have already paid for it or contracted to pay for it. That is not going to change. So by telling the cocoa farmer that, well, I've reduced my salary, so you should be fine with it, how would that solve the problem of the cocoa farmer? It will not solve the problem of the cocoa farmer. What government must do at this point is to pay the cocoa farmer the minimum guaranteed price they promised the farmer August last year, and not to say that they are reducing the salaries of some executives of Cocoa Board. And even with that, Paul, you reduce the farmer's income by about 30%. And the chief executive of Cocoa Board, who together with his executives have caused us this problem, say that, well, they are reducing their salary by 20%.
They reduce the farmer by 30 and they are reducing theirs by 20.
By 20.
So they should go the same level.
If you are genuine about it and you think that that is the way to solve the problem, then you don't go 20. You should at least also match the farmer. Apart from that, the farmer...
Who is going to keep the money?
We do not know it. The Cocoa Board statement did not tell us.
A Cocoa Board draws their salaries from Cocoa Board accounts?
From Cocoa Board, yes.
Oh, I see. Okay. It's complicated.
Very complicated. And even the money they talk about. Now, per the calculation Cocoa Board is even giving us, they are expecting to have about 5 million Ghana cedis every month.
To save?
To save.
From this 20%
from this arrangement. And that will give you 40 million Ghana cedis.
Per year?
Per the 8th month, because they say that it will...
Okay, so that 40 million can do
from now till the end of the cocoa season, and that is in September, and that is 8 months. Paul, the question is, what is you owe license buying companies over 11 billion Ghana cedis, and he said that you are making savings of 40 million Ghana cedis. How does that solve the problem?
11 billion owed to LBCs who have sold cocoa already.
Who have bought cocoa from the farmers and delivered to Cocoa Board.
And so they have also not paid the farmers.
They have also not paid the farmers.
11 billion cedis.
11
so
billion
that's about
cedis.
$1 billion.
Yes.
So that's the money that's going to be raised on the market, on the local market.
No. They said that is what Atu Forsen says. He has instructed Cocoa Board to pay. And I asked the question, how is Cocoa Board going to pay that money?
Do they have it?
They do not.
They don't have
that is the
11
reason
billion.
why Cocoa Board has not paid the farmers. So by just saying that I've instructed them to pay, how would they raise the money to pay? Because even the statement they issued, they didn't talk about how they were going to pay the difference and the remaining 50,000 or 70,000 they talked about. I heard the Deputy Finance Minister say on radio that, well, they are making provision of 150 million to buy the remaining. But the 11 billion that is sitting on the books of Cocoa Board, that has to go to the cocoa farmer. There's no arrangement. There's no mention of it.
So right now, do you know whether they've been selling the cocoa at 2,500 already? Do you know?
Well, my information is that they have about 300,000 metric tons of cocoa that has not been sold. The chief executive says that is not true. What they have is about 50,000 metric tons. But if it is about 50,000 metric tons, then there's something very interesting happening. If you say that your achieved FOB was 7,200 and you've sold about 580,000 metric tons, at that figure, that should give you about 4 point something billion. And if you've given out 70% of it, that is minus industry cost and other things, that should give you close to 30 billion. And per the calculations Cocoa Board has given out, the money they have released is about 17 billion. So where is the remaining 13 billion?
The money they released to who?
To the license buying companies to pay the cocoa farmers.
And that is what is the outstanding of that as 11?
So the outstanding is about 11.
But they released some.
They are not the outstanding.
And you are saying that they couldn't have sold 50,000?
They couldn't have sold 580,000 metric tons.
I get that.
Because they have sold 580,000 metric tons and then monies have been transferred to them. Then monies released to the farmers should be something close to 30 billion. Not the 17 billion calculation they've been giving us.
So you are saying that the cutting of salaries, even though for the optics it may be good, substantially doesn't bring any money to
it. It doesn't bring in any money.
So they might as well keep it, their salaries?
Well, for the chief executive and his deputies, maybe they should feel it, just like the farmers are feeling it. But for the ordinary Cocoa Board staff, who was not even consulted when this decision
was made. But it's not
made.
all staff. It's higher staff. It's senior staff and management. It's
yes,
not all.
Well, the majority of them
are senior staff.
They fall into this category of employees. There are about 5,000, according to Cocoa Board spokesperson. About 5,000 of them. They were not consulted. There was a board meeting that ended late last night, and after the meeting, a statement is issued that, well, the Cocoa Board staff who works with cocoa farmers at Eniamoti, at Agroyisum, is going to have a salary reduced by 10%. Bear in mind that Cocoa Board staff did not contribute to the problem we have today. It was a management decision and management refusal to forward sell the cocoa that has accounted for this situation.
Is Atu Forsen on the board of Cocoa Board?
I should think so.
Or the deputy minister is?
One of them may be on the board. I am not too sure of that.
Wow, we can have this conversation all night. Time is running. I think we've gotten a certain understanding of it. Viewers, I hope you're not dozing off. If you are, we'll put the videos on social media. You can see it. Fatih, let me come to you for the last round of text messages, and then we can leave it. What are people saying? Let me do some text message. You can correct it, Mike, or is it possible to correct? Somebody says that kindly ask Fifi Boafo how much the Cocoa Board borrow for the rehabilitation of swollen shoot infested farms. How much was earmarked to completed, and how much was actually done? Fifi,
it is one of the propaganda they've thrown out that Cocoa Board took 350 million from African Development Bank to rehabilitate about 150,000 metric hectares of cocoa, and then we've done only 40,000. That is not accurate. The farms that are ready to be handed over to the farmers are 40,000, but it was actually 70,000. One may ask, so if you said we're going to do over 100,000 hectares, why are you doing only 70,000? When we started, then there was a realization that there were some components that were not taken care of. So, for example, the landowners now started saying that if the farmer cuts the farm, they take their land back, because the only time the rights the farmer has over that land is to have a cocoa on it. So if you've cut down the cocoa, then I take back my land. So Cocoa Board had to make provision for the landowners in order to keep these farms. Apart from that, some of the cocoa did not do well, and then we had to replant them at a cost. So indeed, that cost became part of the cost of the cost of planting these cocoa farms. So we had to reconfigure the whole amount we are spending on a plot or a hectare of a cocoa. The people who are now claiming that, well, because Cocoa Board took money at the time to plant, at that time did not deliver the actual amount. The question they should answer today is that the money under JBA was spent on a hectare of cocoa. The World Bank facility, which we procured, which they signed a contract for, how much are they spending on a hectare of a cocoa farm?
Are they spending more?
They are spending more.
Wow.
So if they claim that because we did not deliver the same hectarage, it therefore means that someone has done something wrong, why are they paying more?
Yeah. I get it. Is Fatih ready to give us messages? Okay, Fatih, let's hear you.
All right. So coming from Gastiman says the most annoying communication on this cocoa issues is from Honorable Eric Opoku. He said the cocoa farmers are better off with the current price than the one they received during the NPP time, because they can buy more bags of cement than before. That man clearly is not sensitive to the plight of cocoa farmers. He's only been talking with propaganda and mentality and deception. Nana also says the NDC introduced the so-called cocoa roads as a way to dissipate the process of the Cocoa Board. They have not completed the part 2 by taking advantage of our hard-working farmers by even failing to honor the 3,100 cedis that Nanado brought. That's the price. We should also not forget that in 2017, the price of a bag of cocoa was 400 cedis under the NDC until the NPP government increased its plus a pension scheme for the farmers. David says with only fluctuations in cocoa prices, NDC is cutting workers' salary. What would they have done if they were in power during the COVID-19 pandemic? Junior Akbar says NDC will never punish Baba Jamal because they believe in what he did. Nana also says the NDC introduced the so-called cocoa rules as a way to dissipate the proceeds of the Cocoa Board. And lastly, coming from Yao February, says government is capitalizing on the legacy debt at the Cocoa Board for the reason of reducing the farm gate price of cocoa beans and their inability for not subsiding by maintaining the 3,000 Ghana cedis because of the reduction in world market price. Past governments did not reduce the price of cocoa when there was a reduction in world market price. So if governments have failed cocoa farmers after promising 6,000 and also reducing the price to 2,000, they should embrace the messing up the sector and stop the unnecessary blame games, since the NPP also inherited legal debt but did not reduce the price of cocoa beans. Now back to you, Paul.
Yes, to you, Krifi Boafo. So when is the cocoa conversation going to end? When will it end?
Well, I think the cocoa conversation will end when government accept the fact that they caused the problem we find ourselves in, and then go back and pay the cocoa farmer the 3,650, which the farmer was promised. That's based on the weighted average. That is the minimum guaranteed price they will pay the cocoa farmer. Because if they do not do that, the farmers will continue to complain. There will be smuggling, farmers will be demotivated, farmers will not be encouraged to maintain their farms, and it will not give us a hope going into 2026, 2027 season, because now the farmers will not be sure of what will happen going into the next year. These were the people who promised the cocoa farmers they were going to pay them 6,000. They ended up paying them 3,625. with that, they could not even pay them. It took over 4 months for people to complain and say that go and pay the cocoa farmer, for them to come back and say that, well, we cannot pay you the 3,650. So what we'll rather do is to reduce your price before we can pay you. How can you trust these people? They are not honest. Their words can't be taken for anything. They are now giving excuses why we are here. What happened at the time they were making the promises? Ato Forson was the minority spokesperson on finance. He went through the books of Cocoa Board every year. He understood the situation at the time and still went ahead to say that they will pay the farmers 6,500. Today, apart from coming out to say that they've reduced the price of cocoa for the cocoa farmer, he's quiet, he's not saying anything about it. That is the height of insensitivity that Ato Forson. Eric Opoku, one of the texters, mentioned. He comes from Goso, that has produced about 3 national best cocoa farmers. He was going around everywhere saying that Akufo-Addo was insensitive, Akufo-Addo was wicked. Today, Eric Opoku is quiet. Maybe he's busy seeking to be flag bearer of the NDC, so he doesn't care about the farmers anymore. I think that all of us must be concerned about what is happening to the cocoa farmer, because these people clearly consider the farmers very vulnerable and they can take advantage of them at the time. And all Ghanaians must speak up and say that what the NDC is doing to cocoa farmers is not right. And the PR gimmick they are employing will not change the fact that the farmers have been shortchanged and the farmers deserve the price they were promised.
Wow. I was waiting for that 2000 video. If they have it, they'll just show it and we'll wrap it up. We'll leave it there on that occasion. Thank you very much for watching. It's 25 minutes past 11. Do we have the video? Yes, we have it. Let's see it.
As a state-owned organization, or they have overhaul management incomplete because they are useless, they are incompetent, and they've destroyed Ghana's cocoa board.
On the say 1 month.
First month, only the weeks, first week, now 24, the first 2 weeks in office, we will deal with Ghana Cocoa Board. Okay. And we have to deal with it.
Okay.
Because the chief executive is the most incompetent chief executive I've ever seen in my life. Incompetent.
Cocoa Board.
Cocoa Board.
Okay.
What's the cocoa sector?
All right, next one.
We need to encourage the cocoa farmers to plant cocoa by giving them the right price. So the next cocoa pricing regime will give them the right price. Because today, as we speak, Côte d'Ivoire, 1 bag of cocoa or 9,400 Ghana cedis equivalent. Togo, 8,900. Ghana, 3,100. So first of all, yes, in Chad is the next pricing season. So the next pricing regime, is based on the price. So we look at the price now, a world market price, and at the time the next pricing season or starts September 1st. Okay. So 1st of September, it will determine or it will be dependent on the world market price at the time in September.
So let's say 7,000.
So all what we are saying is that we are committing to give the farmer 70% of all FOB prices. So FOB price and whatever it is, we'll give them 70%. Today, they are giving them 30-something%.
Next one here, then.
He's my friend. It's no news he winning in.
That was Ato Forson closing our show tonight. Thanks for watching, viewers. Always a pleasure. Good night.